Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zach and Sean and Ryan are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to a movie film commentary track. This is the second in a series. I'm excited. My name is Zaki Hassan, and I'm joined by my good friend Brian Hall.
Hey! 2 times is twice as nice. Oh man, I am the worst at introductions.
Even when we have a special episode, you find a special way to screw up your intro.
I guess it's my thing, right?
It is. You are living down to expectations.
Yeah.
So
Excellent.
that's a good thing. Well, as we've said, this is a commentary track episode. It's a skip week for the regular show, so Brian and I decided, you know what? Let's just toss on a movie and we'll talk about it and talk through it and talk you through it, and hopefully give you guys something interesting to listen to as you listen to us watching one of our favorite movies. Is that about right, Brian?
I think that about sums it up right there.
That's the gist of it. So for this commentary track, we chose a film that's a personal favorite of myself and Brian's, and it is Terminator 2 Judgment Day from 1991. It is one of the most successful movies ever made, launching one of the most successful franchises. Well, not launching, but continuing one of the most successful franchises.
One of the rare sequels that I think a lot of people would say transcends the first.
Well, and that's obviously part of the conversation that we're going to have. And there is a new Terminator movie coming out in just a few months, so we figured what better way to whet your appetite, as you will, and sort of give you, rather than having to sit through and watch all the TV episodes and movies and everything else, in this series, you can just listen to us talk about this franchise and you'll be good to go by the time Terminator Genesis comes out, which is, of course, the long-promised pairing of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Phil Collins. So I'm very excited about that. So Brian and I are watching the theatrical cut of Terminator. There is of course 2 editions of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. There is a director's cut, which is substantially longer, but given that Brian and I would like to sleep at some point tonight, we've decided that we'll stick to the theatrical cut. So, action items for you if you intend to watch along with us. What you need to do is pop in your Blu-ray. We will only allow you to watch a Blu-ray, by the way. None of this DVD. If you're watching a DVD, turn this commentary track. We don't want you listening to it. That's how we roll. But otherwise, pop in your Blu-ray, select the theatrical cut, and cue it up so that the time code is at 00000. So go ahead and do that. And Brian, I'm assuming you're queued up on your end?
I am ready to go.
Okay. So
ready to rock? Ready.
Let's do this. So
I'm already quoting the movie, man.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself. So here's what we'll do, Brian. On 3, you and I will both hit. So 1, 2, 3. All right. Here we go. Terminator 2.
All right, here we go.
Now, I'm realizing as I'm watching the Carolco logo, by the way, which Carolco does not exist anymore. I haven't seen this movie in a few years, and yet it's still like I remember everything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I won't try to get into too many personal things with this movie because I don't think anyone cares about that. But I will say that I was 11 when this came out, and I remember, which is kind of young. I think it's almost like just becoming the right age for this movie. And I remember this was a movie that still felt a little dangerous. Like you'd get it from the video store, and it was sort of like, more violent than the things you were used to and whatnot. So yeah, as a young impressionable kid, there's a lot of things, even that opening, that have burned into my brain. Very nostalgic watching this movie.
No, so you did not see it in the theater?
No. My parents would have never taken me to see this.
just from the title.
Mm-hmm. So 2029, huh?
We're dangerously close to that. I'm realizing. I think we're closer now to the future date than the past date, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because it's about 15 years away, 14 years away.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, I don't want to. I'll try not to bring up this conversation a whole lot here, but like, look at this thing where you get this skull crushed right here, and then you pan up and you got the
And you actually see it's
800.
a practical, it's a
Yes.
thing.
You know
It's something you
exactly where
can
I'm going.
touch.
That thing, look at that thing. That thing's frightening. Look at this, and this thing rolling over all these skulls and everything right here. Like, what's really impressive about this is all models, obviously, and then it's also rear projection, which honest to goodness, never even thought about until I listened to the commentary with James Cameron.
Sure.
And you notice there's actually quite a bit of rear projection in this movie, but I would say, unless you're really studiously looking for it, it doesn't look that bad.
No, I
Uh,
mean unless it's pointed out to you, you wouldn't notice it.
yeah, but this reminds me a lot of actually the T2 video game. Did you ever play that arcade game?
Yeah, yeah, it was a first person shooter, right?
Yeah, and you were always trying to protect these dudes in the back of trucks, shooting up at all these things, and it was nigh on impossible because you had to keep pumping in quarters. And I remember I finally went to an arcade where it was free to play the game, so you could just continue playing for free, and we still couldn't beat the game. So I
That is
mean,
so
you can
funny.
imagine how much money was lost on that stupid thing. But
Now, now,
yeah,
now, now, right here, like as you pointed out, the practicals are what really stick out. But here we see the actor who plays John Connor, and I should probably have looked up what his name is, but he is the first adult John Connor that we see in this franchise.
right. Michael
And
Edwards.
oh, thank you. See, and the cool thing that I've always noticed is that what we hear in the soundtrack is kind of the heroic John Connor theme
Hmm.
at this moment. And what we find later in the film, and this is the scores by Brad Fiedel, it comes to represent the Terminator,
Right. And you got that
and
scar there on his face, right? That they tried
which is
to
iconic
explain in was it 4? Yeah, Terminator 4.
in Salvation. Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, it's like a T-800 on John's face, and it's clawing at him. I think as it's dying or something, and it puts that scar on his face.
Well, Terminator Salvation is sort of like the first 10 minutes of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where it's basically like, hey, every like
Right.
iconic thing that happens to the character happens here.
Right.
It's like here's how he meets his father, and here's how this happens, and here's how that happens. But
Yeah.
but I realized that we could wander down this rabbit hole of just tearing up some of the lesser follow-ups here. So
Yeah. No, we're gonna focus on T2 today, and also this is a nice moment here where you got the titles where it showcases the score here, and it's a really nice score, but it's the theme, I guess you could say, is really moving. And I remember actually when we first met, I remember you saying that you bought the score to Terminator 2 and then you had to get rid of it because it was just like
yeah, it's just percussive noise.
yeah, it wasn't a pleasant listening experience on its own necessarily, but it's such a interesting score though, isn't it? Because it is kind of weird and unique, but it feels sort of timeless, I think. Instead of being sort of synthy, like that weird
Even though it is synth.
well, it is synth, yeah, but I mean, it's just something like it only belongs to this movie because I can't think
Yeah.
of any other movie that has a score that sounds like this one.
Well, and I think the Terminator theme is, I mean, I think Brad Fiedel, his contribution to the scoring world by virtue of creating the Terminator theme has sort of cemented his place. Because I think, and this might sound weird, but I especially, not so much even in this film, but certainly when you hear it in the first film, there's something very sad about it.
Yeah.
And the orchestration. And so in my mind, I certainly in the first film, I feel like that's the Kyle Reese theme
Mm, right.
because he's an incredibly tragic character.
No Kyle Reese in this edition.
Not in the version that we're watching, although he did shoot a little cameo, and so I suppose we can point out when he showed up, when he would have showed up if you were in fact watching the director's cut.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. This truck here, I was caught part of the Abyss, and it's like the Abyss is like truckers in the ocean, and aliens is truckers in space.
Yeah,
And James Cameron himself used to be a truck driver.
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So at what point does James Cameron make the transition from trucker to director? Like that's such a complete paradigm shift.
Yeah, and well, he worked on Corman films
Right.
at the beginning. Did what, Piranha 2?
Piranha 2, I think, was his first credit, yeah, or first
Yeah.
directing credit.
And I think he credits working with Roger Corman with like learning how to do sort of down and dirty, stuff that looks good for cheap.
Yeah.
Which again,
Well,
I mean,
and
this movie is to the brim with practical effects.
well, and
it
and
goes.
and it and of course, this is at the time. This was the most expensive film ever made.
Yeah, $100 million. The first movie to cost
The,
$100 million.
which is literally that's low budget today.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Like that would
That,
be like sort of a lower end big movie.
that's like, oh yeah, we'll, we don't have a lot of expectations. It's just kind of this little project.
Yeah, and international, with international and everything, you'll get it back. But
Right. Now, uh, had you seen the first one before you saw this one?
no, I saw this
You
one first.
hadn't. See
Yeah.
that now that's interesting. So in other words, it was the hype factor that got you interested.
This was a sleepover movie. You know what I mean? I think
Okay.
this was something that boys our age at that time, like it was a lot at sleepovers. And I knew it was a big movie, obviously, and I was just excited to see it. Um, yeah, I don't know. This funny
Well,
scene, the song in the background, Dwight Yoakam here, guitars and Cadillacs. My mom liked Dwight Yoakam, so I was like, hey, I know that song. But
I forever associate the song with this scene.
oh, for sure. And then he went on he's acted in like quite a few films. Sling Blade. What's that other deal? I love this. Give me your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. If we should have an alternate commentary where we just quote the entire film.
Yeah, and do the voices.
Here we go.
Like,
You forgot to say please.
are you gonna sync the dialogue?
I should. Um,
Yeah. There we go.
yeah. But what's funny is this movie, as violent as it is, because this scene is pretty brutal here.
Yeah.
You got like knives, close-ups of knives going into people and stuff like that. But the movie doesn't feel as gritty and dangerous as the first movie per se.
No.
Would you agree with
No.
that?
No, I absolutely would. This is if James Cameron made a Steven Spielberg movie, that's this.
That is so accurate. A boy and
Right?
his robot.
A boy and his robot. Exactly. I mean, like if Steven Spielberg had directed it, it would fit right in with his continuum of movies. It would have had a
Yeah.
very different John Williams score, probably, but
Yeah.
so I was probably, gosh, I must have been 5 or so when I saw the first one.
hmm
Which, I mean, in hindsight, totally the wrong age, but it stayed with me. And what's interesting is at the same time, and I was in Saudi Arabia at the time. I saw the first one, and probably before I even saw the film, they showed like a making of special
Oh.
about the first Terminator, not the second one.
Uh-huh.
And so I remember being like 5 or 6 and watching, oh, here's the prosthetic head of Schwarzenegger with like the robot thing inside, and here's how we did the endoskeleton and whatnot. And I just remember being transfixed by the sort of the movie magic on display. So in a very real sense, I can point to the Terminator, the first Terminator, being the thing that prompted my interest in how this stuff is put together.
Hmm. Well,
You
I
know?
think this was I can only speak again to our generation, but like I remember there were a lot of specials about the making of this movie. I mean, this movie
Yeah.
was, without exaggeration, I mean, this was groundbreaking because
Yeah.
this was the first movie to truly incorporate like CGI, a fully CGI character, first of all.
Yep.
I mean, notwithstanding in the abyss that water tentacle. Well, okay, let's go back even further. Adventures of Young Sherlock Holmes, which had that stained glass figure. But
Right.
oh, by the way, this little stretch of freeway here, I believe, is the 5 near Orange County. I always think of it when I pass through it because it's got all those
Do
overpasses.
you drive on it on a Harley?
In my mind.
And you're playing bad to the bone?
Yeah, and that's another thing too, because we'll get into it in certain moments. But yeah, I just remember seeing so many behind the scenes about this, where they would show, of course, like how the visual effects were done, like the computer effects. But also, I remember watching things about the sound effects in this film.
Right.
And like, I remember what I love about this movie is every single gun does not sound like a real gun. You know what I mean? It's like so heightened.
I never thought about that.
And it's I because I watched all these things, man. Like the Terminator's shotgun is actually a cannon.
Interesting.
And then like I remember just recently, it made me think of it. The bartender, when he fires the shotgun in the air to try to scare off Arnold, it's like a mixture of a pistol and a cannon and a this and a that. It's like they're not real gun sounds, which I think is really interesting.
Huh. You know, it's worth pointing out here. This is our introduction to the T1000. Cameron's doing something really interesting, which is toying with our own perception. Because as far as we're concerned, he's the good guy, right?
Who's
Because
this?
the T1000. Because we have no context other than the first film, right?
Right.
So our introduction to Arnold is exactly the same as how he's introduced in the first one. But here, you know, he physically he looks like Michael Biehn,
Hmm.
and so we have no reason to think. So in other words, the first, half hour or whatever plays out with us thinking of Arnold being the same character from the first one, and Robert Patrick being who we assume is one of the good guys.
Right.
And I think that's very smart because what we just saw him kill the cop, but we actually didn't see him kill the cop.
Right. Right. Like he could have just knocked him out. That's funny. I never thought about it.
Yeah, that's. Oh, and by the way, right here, this is Danny Cooksey. He's Sam from Different Strokes.
Wow, crazy.
Mr. D would be very disappointed in him.
And the mother, Jeanette Goldstein, she's a Cameron regular.
Yeah,
she was
so
the Irish mother reading the kids the thing,
in
little
Titanic,
story in Titanic when
and
all's
she's
going well.
Vasquez in Aliens.
Yep.
And there's George Mason.
Yep. George Mason is a damn hero.
This is Xander Berkeley. I think this is the first time I ever saw Xander Berkeley.
Yeah, same.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, man. All right, again, I'm 11 when I watched this. I wanted that motorcycle so bad.
Now, this is another interesting thing because John is 10 in this
Right.
movie.
Which, yeah, you wouldn't necessarily know. You'd assume he's like 13 or something, but when you look at that little screen in the police car,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in other words, this film was set in the 3 years in the future
From
of
when it was released.
from when it was released. And I think people forget that because I know for a fact that like Terminator 3 forgot that idea that the movie was set later than it was released.
Right.
And I'm always fascinated by that when a movie series is inconsistent with its own like basic facts.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
like all you had to do is pop it in, you know?
I know. I know.
Now this is Earl Bone as Dr. Silberman. He's the only actor to appear in the first three Terminators besides Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right. Right.
You know?
And then there was much ado made about Linda Hamilton, by the way, her appearance. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she is a badass mofo in this movie. And
She becomes a Cameron woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Whereas she's the exact opposite in the first one, where she's sort of this meek
right.
waitress.
Yeah, I mean, she started a trend, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, and she was doing that TV series at the time. Do you remember Beauty and the Beast?
Beauty and the Beast. That's right. Yeah.
She actually left the show to do this, and then they ended up canceling the show. Which is, I'm sure, a development that Ron Perlman was very happy about. Ron
Yeah,
Perlman
that's
was
so
the
great.
beast.
This movie, like, this is so the economy of the storytelling. I mean, it's just like you could totally watch this movie on its own, and you don't need the first movie. I mean, where he's explaining everything here to these people, and it, of course, you benefit having seen the first one, but like this movie explains everything.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a scene cut right there where the guards in the institution, they go into her cell and they try to give her sedatives or whatever, and she resists, and so they beat her up.
Now, what do you think was the purpose of that scene, the one that was cut out?
Because it leads to she has a hallucination while she's on the drugs where she sees Kyle Reese.
That's right.
And
Played
she's
by
feeling
Michael
sort
Biehn,
of
course.
yeah, she's feeling like trapped and like helpless, and he basically gives her like a on your feet soldier kind of speech.
Yeah.
Dude, look at Robert Patrick, dude. Like,
He's just like a kid.
oh my gosh! But I mean, like, he is like a handsome dude. Like, he does this whole like, thanks for your cooperation. You're like, dude, I would trust that guy, like in a heartbeat. But then he just does that little turn, that little weird stoic stare.
Right.
And, oh man, he is you. You could not have cast a better guy.
Yep.
I have a problem with the sequels because it's not that guy.
Because
You know what I mean?
because they didn't find Robert Patrick is like the Khan of the Terminator franchise, where
For sure, for
they
sure.
haven't found a villain to.
Everyone's just imitating his little stare. You know what I mean? When you had the third one with the Christina Loken, I think her name was, the female.
Kristana Loken, yeah.
Loken, yeah. And then I saw the trailer for the fifth one, and it's like, again, everyone's just doing an impersonation of him. It just doesn't work.
Well, and you know what's interesting is that Robert Patrick was so good in this role that it basically screwed his career up by about
Right.
5-6 years, because the guy just couldn't find work,
Yeah.
because he was and he reprised the T-1000 twice.
I know one of them. What were
Well, one was Wayne's World. I'm sure that's the one you
Right.
know.
Which was
But
hilarious.
it was perfect, yeah. And then he plays the T-1000 again in The Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of memory of that movie.
Well, most people don't.
Wait, by the way, that picture, right, that he was just looking at, that was a picture that was taken at the end of Terminator 1. That
That's
boy.
from the first one. Yeah,
on the
that's from the
gas
first one.
station,
I think when it comes to Robert Patrick, I think it took him getting a few lines on his face
yeah. Right.
to
Right.
to sort
But
of
I-
outgrow this character.
I'm totally drawn to him. Like, if he's in something, I immediately want to watch it. Just because I have such an affection from this film with him, I just want him to do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's just one of these guys who he does have people do have a lot of fondness for him, but he's also, I mean, he tends to do good work.
Uh-huh. Oh, for sure.
You know?
Right.
He also replaced David Duchovny in the last couple seasons of the X-Files.
Ah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, arguably that's kind of what cemented his career now.
Right.
You know.
Something else I'll bring up right now as I'm thinking about it is we're watching this movie, like we said, on a Blu-ray, and it's the aspect ratio is 235, right? Which is most larger scale films are shot 235, but this movie was actually shot 4:3.
Oh, really?
And they matted it for theatrical and for DVD and whatever. But when they showed it on television, they didn't lose any image on the sides. They just added image to the tops and bottom.
So wow, okay. So why did Cameron do that?
I don't know, honestly.
Was it
I mean,
because
even
of it?
looking
Was
at
it
this shot
because
right
of-
now with the monitor of Connor, you can see where you could see it being a 4:3 framing there a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it would still make sense. But it's I wonder because I was watching something the other day that was shot in say like 92 or 3 or something. Oh, it was Mrs. Doubtfire, and
Okay.
it was so tight. Like it was such a wide like frame for that film, and I wondered like if they thought before people had the capability to watch movies in widescreen, if filmmakers questioned decisions knowing that most people were going to watch these movies for the end of time on a square, and
Right.
so if I wonder if that hindered some of their creativity a little bit, or like, oh, this will look garbled when it gets pan and scanned on television. So I don't know, maybe that factored into Cameron, like I don't ever want to lose any portion of the image.
Wow. Yeah. Little did they know that we would eventually switch over to.
Yeah, I think
16
Kubrick
by
shot that way
90s.
too.
Yeah. What did Kubrick know?
That's another thing. Just as a little trivia aside, so sometimes they do that. They'll shoot it in 4:3, but they never mean for the 4:3 image to be seen, and so that's where they'll put the boom mic, knowing that the theaters will mat that portion of the screen. And I went and saw the movie Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, and they forgot to mat it.
That's so funny.
So we watched the whole movie where you could see the boom mic over everybody's heads.
That happened to me at a screening of The Patriot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So maybe it's just a thing with Mel Gibson movies.
Maybe.
They're like, whatever, Mel Gibson. I don't. This was before his meltdowns. Actually, I don't know why they would have said that, but.
That's a good scene
Now,
there.
now, the gap of time between T2 and T1 was 7 years, which, as a kid, is it might as well be 3 times that.
Right.
So I remember seeing a TV spot for T2 and being like, what? There's a what? It just, I couldn't believe it.
Right.
And again, I came to it having seen the first one, and so it was just like pure anticipation. And I ended up, getting like a bootleg video in Saudi Arabia, and that's how I ended up finally seeing it, but it was pretty thoroughly edited. Like there was a bunch of stuff that had been cut out of it,
Really?
and I had no idea because it's actually a pretty decent edit.
Yeah.
But I mean, God, I can't even remember how many times I watched it.
Oh man, I've seen it. Yeah, when I was a kid. So here, this is a great scene here where we introduce again, like you don't need the first movie to enjoy this
don't.
movie. They just, I mean, just enough information. Here we meet Miles Dyson. We don't know who he is, but now we know that there's some sort of thing. What it is. Like, what is it? Where did it come from? Don't worry about it. And then we see it, and we immediately recognize it's a chip that was from the finale of Terminator 1. So we know everybody has it, and they're doing research off of it. Get out of the scene. Perfect.
And we should really talk about Joe Morton in this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Because when you I mean, first of all, the character, arguably Miles Dyson, is the true hero of this movie.
Yeah. For sure.
There's such a level of humanism that Joe Morton gives to him, where you just your heart breaks for him, and sort of he's the one who has the most to lose.
Right.
And,
Yes,
and he
absolutely. Yeah. By the way, I've always said if I become a multi-millionaire, I'm going to have a room in my house just like this one, just so I can bring people. I'm like, oh, and this is the special room. And then when I push the button, like that, the Terminator hand comes out. And I'm like, but enough about this room, and then leave him out.
Moving on. Now this is like her meltdown scene here is it's the way Sarah Connor is constructed in this film. I think it's interesting how Cameron basically took movie one and was like, I'm gonna throw this on its ear. I'm gonna utterly deconstruct this character.
Right.
Because there's nothing left in this one from the woman we met in the first one.
Right. Now, do you think what she's doing here, was this all a careful plan just to get that paperclip? Or do you think she actually thought she was going to get out here?
That's, I think that Sarah is somebody who is conditioned to seek every opportunity. So I think this right here, where she's attacking him, that's premeditated.
Right.
In the sense that that's not an angry outburst. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in other words, I think her hopefulness was real, but this is her plan to get the paperclip.
Right.
And he's such a douchebag. My God, it's like you hate him in the first one, and then you really hate him in this one.
Yeah. Now, speaking of this, like this whole canal thing, this is like a little precursor to what's to come. But I still have not, after living in Los Angeles for over 10 years, I don't even know how you'd get a car down there. Like I didn't know if there was like little alleyways that lead you down there or not.
Well, you're not a 10-year-old either, so
right. Little hellraiser.
Yeah. Back in the day, Brian, you were quite the hellraiser, right?
Oh sure.
In the suburbs,
all sorts of heck.
in Wheaton, Illinois.
We got Nikki Cox right here.
And Nikki Cox, yeah.
Nikki Cox. Now married to Jay Moore, drinking Subway apparently. Oh yeah, I've told the story on here before, but she's saying, yeah, I think John Connor's at the Galleria, right? And I went and saw a screening of this movie at the Galleria, and everyone cheered.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. Oh my gosh, dude, I have seen this scene. I don't know how many times.
Oh, a million times easily, yeah.
When I was a kid, we'd go to the mall. I remember Laserdisc was new, and they had a display, and the thing that they would show on the display was this scene over and over and over. I would just sit there and watch it over and over.
It's such a great scene.
Yeah, the tension in this thing, it's perfect.
And I mean, now when you watched it, you knew that Arnold was the good guy.
See, now that's the thing, because when you were talking about it earlier, where they like subvert expectations, where you don't know about Robert Patrick possibly being good or bad, that's kind of the problem. I mean, when they sell this movie, it's just like a new sort of killer. You know what I mean? Like they spoil. The movie's set up to mislead you, but like with marketing, which is obviously necessary, it's like those things. You don't get to have that experience.
Right. No, totally. I mean, when you watch it, up until Arnold says, "Get down."
Mm-hmm.
You think he's the
You
bad
should
guy.
think he's the one who's after.
Yeah,
Right.
because as far as we know, the T-1000 is just a dude.
Right.
I feel like the marketing let this movie down in that sense, but then again, I don't know how you keep that secret,
Right.
I wonder what J.J. Abrams would do. Like, he loves the mystery box.
Oh,
How
dude,
do
look
you
at that.
preserve
Yeah.
that secret?
I know.
I always took joy whenever he shoves Sam
The
over like
kid.
that.
I think I saw a
Yeah.
kid. Hey.
Hey!
Oh my gosh, I saw this Cracked article. I
Okay.
think it was like the top 10 people I feel bad for in movies.
This
And
guy
one of them
right
was
here,
this
probably.
guy with the Pepsi. Dude, to this day I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, but why didn't he just duck
Duck?
because he specifically gets in the middle of their shot.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you're not supposed to be back here. I remember my friends telling me as a kid too when the roses came out of the box and he steps over him and cocks the gun. They're like, "Yeah, Guns and Roses," because they're on the soundtrack. And now as I'm an adult, I'm a little skeptical. Dude, look at that damn thing. This blew my mind when I saw this the first time. And it's like poor guy.
First of many innocent bystanders, eh?
Right. When the T-1000 gets shot here, and these little I don't know what you call them, pockets of metal popping up, and that's a practical effect.
Is it really?
Yeah. When they heal up, obviously you can tell it's aged. But on the behind the scenes, you can watch that special suit he's wearing, and they pop out of him.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't even think about it because
fantastic.
nowadays, well, that you can tell is CG right there.
Yeah. Yeah, but look at this movie too, where you got John right there, and you know why these movies I think stand out? Cameron, and then people who kind of know what they're doing versus people now that we're not as huge a fans of. Like that shot of John right there had depth of field. You know what I mean? There was actually things that right there, like he's in focus, and everything in front and behind is out of focus because he's the only thing that matters right there. And I feel like that level of thought isn't put into action films; they just point and shoot and shake. And real quick, I need to point out here cameo. Is that what you're gonna say?
Oh, well, we have a cameo of right there of the T-1000, and it actually looks right. And then there's
Right there, the guy with the
is that
camera.
Bill Wisher?
Yeah, the guy who co-wrote the movie.
And he is kind of the unsung genius of the Terminator franchise.
Right.
Because he co-wrote both this one and the first one.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know he co-wrote the first one.
Yeah, and he actually has a cameo in the first one too as a police officer. And he doesn't get enough credit, It's kind of,
yeah.
It's thought of as a James Cameron show, and I think, William Wisher is at least as integral in sort of setting the tent poles for what this whole franchise became.
And then this whole thing right here, the interiors were shot at a Santa Monica Mall. This one's the Northridge Mall, the parking lot, and then where the exterior is right here. And one day I was actually, if you watch Last Man on Earth, in the pilot when he rolls a car down a hill at a mall parking lot and blow into another car so it blows up. That's this same mall right here.
That's so funny.
Yeah. That's where I get my Mongolian barbecue. That mall.
Now the running, I remember the way the soundtrack gets very percussive at that moment, and he has that kind of inhuman robotic running.
He doesn't look like he's winded.
Right. I mean, I think Robert Patrick made this character. He made his construction of his character look very easy.
Right.
And I think that's why he doesn't get enough credit for what he did to make the T-1000, sort of unnerving.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because you can see, if you're really paying attention, the stunt doubles.
Oh my gosh, you can count like how many different Arnold lookalikes there are.
Yeah, which is funny because I just watched a movie tonight, where it wasn't the star doing the thing, and they digitally put the face on the stunt doubles now. But we should point out here we were here where the truck crashes off the overpass into the water drain. That's Plummer and Havenhurst, and I believe it's Encino.
Yeah, you pulled up sort of the making of on your phone.
Yeah, Zachy and I, when he was out here to visit, I took him to that spot, and yeah, you pull up the making of on your phone, and it's kind of cool to see the spot.
I think I said this to you before. It felt to me like those crime scene shows where like you have this really gifted crime scene expert who goes to a scene and then he's able to visualize like the murder that happened.
Right.
That's what it felt like to me. I
Yeah.
remember watching this sequence, I don't even know how many times.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I was referring to. Maybe I was getting ahead of myself, but this truck chase, yeah, like, I mean, I've probably seen this like 100 times.
Yeah, well, it's funny because just the other day, my 8-year-old of all people was like, Papa, can we watch the Terminator? And I'm like, no, we're not. No, you're not watching the Terminator, you know.
Yeah.
But I ended up putting on this sequence for him
Yeah.
because it's just a cool scene. I don't think it's just a great action sequence.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I'm not going to turn into old man whatever. We had a listener tell us that we bring up how old we are too often on the show. But I mean, you got the tension in the scene, the action in the scene. Like, I feel like T3 didn't even live up to this when they tried to top it.
Now you're kind of a T3 hater.
I'm not a hater. I just don't think it lives up to this movie. I mean, and what can? Let's be honest. But like, I see that, like, just ripping the top off of there. Like, this is all practical stuff. Like, they didn't feel like they had to enhance anything with CG, and it introduced physics to this
Right.
chase that just aren't possible. Like, this is scary enough that this truck is about to run over this kid on a bike, and there's all
Here
these sort
comes
of like,
Arnold's stunt double right here. There we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's slightly stockier Arnold.
He's got this "holy crap, I just made the landing" face.
It looks like Kevin James coming
It
down.
kind of does.
It's,
But yeah, I'm telling you, man, if the stakes are real enough, no one cares if the action is so crazy that physics have to be defied and all
sure.
sorts of. There's like a 30-year-old man, and there's
Yeah.
all sorts of.
Totally different. I had I remember saving up to buy a Game Boy. I saved up all year just that I could get a Game Boy, and the game pack that I got was T2
Oh, funny.
for Game Boy, and this was one of the levels where
Oh,
you're the Terminator on the bike, and you have to get around the rig and rescue John Connor.
nice.
So like the rig, like John Connor's in front of the rig. Bear in mind, this is like Game Boy side scroller.
Right.
So you're the Terminator. You're on the bike behind the rig, and you have to find a way around it somehow. Man, takes me back.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting. They added that center column to the drain right there that wasn't originally there, and you can see it when the thing explodes. It like half falls apart.
Really? Oh. Well,
Yeah.
now why did they do that? Why did they add the center column?
I think they just needed a way to stop the truck.
Oh, interesting. Wow, didn't even
Here's
think of
here's our first look at full liquid metal T1000 right there, and then it.
that. Now you talk about physics. How does the T1000 work exactly?
He's I don't know. But what he can, it was kind of cool though that he's like he can't turn himself into a bomb, no complex weapons, only knife stabbing weapons. He's kind of rudimentary in some ways.
Other than the fact that he's well, see now hold on a second. He can't turn himself into any complex weapons such as bombs. Isn't turning yourself into a human being far more complex than a bomb?
Yeah. Well, it's all exterior here. You're really real.
See, this is where the Spielbergian aspect of this kicks in.
Right? I mean, this movie. I showed this movie to two friends of mine who had never seen it before, and that their female is inconsequential, but it was two female friends, and myself and Sean, our co-host from Days of Yore, and and so anyway, I remember showing them this movie, and the two comments at the end during all the action sequences, they said, "How many words are actually in this movie?" And they said at the end when the Arnold gets lowered into the lava, they're like, "Oh, robot dad is dead," or something like that. And I totally get it, but like, let's be honest, like this scene right here, like this is totally effective. All the scenes between John Connor and Arnold are super effective,
Yeah.
and I truly believe this relationship.
Yeah.
That at first it's kind of weird, but then he grows to think he's cool, and then he grows to actually love him.
Yeah.
I feel like it was handled expertly, frankly, for being what could have just been a blunt, dumb action movie.
And you know, I mean, we're talking a lot about Robert Patrick, but I mean, I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger gets enough credit for what he did with this character.
Right.
You know, because it's kind of interesting, right? Because the Terminator is the only character who is included on AFI's list of 100 heroes and villains, both lists.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
you know, and that says something that when you watch the first Terminator movie, he is legit scary. Like
Right.
you are terrified of him, but you're not scared of him in this one.
Right. Right.
And that it's the subtleties. I mean, it's how he was able to make the character feel alive almost.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Setting it up right there.
This is a great reveal right here.
Yeah. Is there a rule? I honestly can't remember. The T-1000, is it he can turn into things he's touched or something like, or people or whatever? Because then there's like a little precursor there that she's obviously that's the T-1000 disguised as his stepmother, and she was just touching a knife.
Well, I think it's made more explicit in the director's cut that it has to be things
Yes,
that
that's right.
he's sampled or something to that effect.
Because when she kills the stepfather here, her arm turns into a like kitchen knife.
Right.
This is a crazy practical effect too. If you watch like the behind the scenes, just seeing how this big rig they had to make it look like this knife was going through the back of this guy's head.
What's wrong with Wolfie? I still
Yeah. Your foster parents are dead. Which, by the way, that's another deleted scene, right? Where the T-1000 goes to John Connor's house.
Right.
And he kills the dog. Because
So
he finds out that he was lied to.
Oh, so it's after this. It's after this.
Yeah, and then you hear the dog barking, and then the dog yelps, and then you see the collar, and it says Max on it. And he realizes that he was lied to.
Right, right.
This thing that's intense.
Oh, it is like a kitchen knife.
Yeah.
I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
And there goes Xander Berkeley, one
Yeah.
of his many on-screen deaths.
Here's a great little shot, though, right? Where she takes like one little side step and then turns back into the T-1000. Here we go. Yeah. That's 91 money right there.
We really do. We take for granted how everything now. It's like, oh, we'll just CGI it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know,
Sorry. I think
no, go ahead.
we talk about this. I read this everywhere. Everyone's like, how come CGI has never looked better than it did in Jurassic Park?
Right.
And it's because it was a mixture. It was the perfect mixture. What needed to be practical was practical, and what needed aid was aided. And I think too much is relied upon these days, and that's kind of the problem.
And this is all. Now, are these actual shots from the first film? I don't think so,
don't
right?
know. I don't know.
I'd be curious about whether those are from the first movie.
Yeah.
Because Arnold looks slightly older, so it might not be.
What is this guy's name? I can't think of this actor, the cop. He's
The one with the mustache?
Yeah, he's in Christopher Guest films.
Yeah, he's. I've seen him in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
He's
Don
kinda-
Lake.
he's- okay, what else has he been in?
Oh,
other
he's
than-
enjoying Subway too, just like Nikki Cox.
Nice.
Sorry, what's that?
Product placement.
Yeah.
Subway got their money's worth.
Yeah. Oh, here's where she gets the paperclip. My bad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, well then discount everything that I said.
Yeah. And me as well. It's like Spaceballs. In fact, just disregard everything we just said. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we were talking about that scene that was cut where the guards, rough her up, and then you got, I guess it's coming up here a little bit later, where the one guard licks her face, and you just see that she's actually kind of, like tortured in this place.
What? Oh my God! I remember seeing that the first time, being like, "What the? Why would somebody in a position of authority treat somebody like that?" I was very naive when I first saw it.
Wait, look at the Terminator. While he's telling this story, all he's doing is scanning.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that before. Like, he's not really listening. He's just like scanning, being his bodyguard.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking to it's like talking to a toaster, it's
Yeah. At this point. Yeah.
right, you know. Well, I mean that's the question of, does the Terminator truly learn to feel, or is he just reflecting his programming?
Well, according to a deleted scene we can talk about later, they had an answer for that.
That's right, they did.
Look at his Public Enemy shirt.
Which
He's
is
like,
ironic because
911 is a joke, y'all.
this like relatively well-off white kid.
Right. Uh, yeah,
It's
and
funny
then it
because
showed.
Public Enemy was out of fashion by like 1992. So the fact that like in quote unquote 1994 he'd still be wearing one of their shirts.
Oh yeah, it's you kind of wonder. I mean, obviously every single thing is a decision. You wonder if they obviously wanted to say something about him. For as young as he's supposed to be, he's kind of this rebellious kid, I suppose. What was I gonna say? Oh, there's this other deleted scene that we where the T-1000 goes into John Connor's bedroom, right? And he
Yeah.
starts like feeling everything. He's feeling his computer. He's feeling his bed, and it's sort of like he's like scanning,
Yeah.
which we don't see. And they don't really do that anywhere else in the film. Have him sort of do that with his fingertips.
Well, and it if you what it does set up is later on in the film when he starts malfunctioning.
Yeah,
It's a reflection, and I think most of that stuff is cut out of the theatrical cut, if I remember.
yeah.
Look at
This
this
is,
guy's friggin' hair, man.
yeah, I know. I like this scene too because this goes from funny. He's like, did you call moi a dipshit?
It takes a
And you're
dark
kind of like
turn.
laughing, and then it goes really dark here, and
Yeah.
like really, and these guys like almost got murdered.
For trying to help him.
Yeah, that's what I love about this movie. I mean, there's parts that feel terrifying and kind of cold, but it has a lot of heart at the same time. It's like yeah, like it teeters the line perfectly. It doesn't go soft because it's a hard subject. The film.
Well, and I think this is really cool right here is we get this right here is why John Connor is a hero in the future.
Right.
Right.
He's got
It's,
the heroic instincts.
right away. When you think about it, he's a little kid and he could have taken advantage of but he's right here. He's 10 years old. He's like, you don't go killing people. He's like, you just don't. And think about it, given how screwed up his childhood was, for him to still have that moral compass,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Which what I know a lot of people like to bag on Cameron, like, oh, he's a great director, but he's a terrible screenwriter. I'm gonna be honest, I disagree. Like, I'm not gonna defend all of his dialogue,
Yeah.
but like, he's an amazing screenwriter. I mean, like, he knows what to include, what not to include. He's a fantastic storyteller. Again, maybe his dialogue can be clunky at times,
Yeah.
but like, he's a fantastic storyteller.
I think his ability to construct sequences of events that interconnect in ways that they feed off each other and they play off each other is it's unsurpassed in some ways,
Yeah. So yeah, here we got this disturbing orderly here. Which, by the way, do you remember the movie Orderlies starring the Fat Boys?
I didn't
Oh.
until you brought it up.
It was called Disorderlies. That's what it was.
Disorderly. That's right. Until you brought it up.
That was probably
this
a
right
double
here-
feature for us as at sleepovers: Terminator 2 and Disorderlies.
That will not be a movie film commentary.
There we go. That's just.
How'd you
messed up.
like to be this guy? Like, I wonder what the audition for this role went like.
I know.
Were there just a bunch of people who had to like lick Linda Hamilton's face? That was the
Yeah.
audition.
Cameron's like, I'm not feeling it.
We'll call you.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this guy afterwards is like, I'm so sorry.
I know. And then like what a dick he is. He's just like banging his baton in everybody's room here.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
I'm still hung up on the face licking.
I know. Well, and then you got her breaking out here with this paper clip, and the things I've read, it was like she actually like learned to pick locks and like really did it for this thing, and Cameron's all into figuring out how to make this all truthful.
Right.
Yeah, she's a little badass here. Oh
Yeah,
man.
this is
A
a
lot
great
of,
sequence.
this is really reminiscent of the mall scene now that I think about it. As you have the T-1000 entering the mental institution, you know what I mean? Like everyone's coming at different times for the same goal. For
But
the
but
in this case,
now
it's for
now
Sarah.
you know where everyone stands,
Yeah,
except her.
exactly.
Sarah
Yeah,
doesn't. The
you're right.
character doesn't.
Yeah, and um, yeah,
Well, I mean, and that's one of those great moments when she first sees Arnold, and she has no idea that things are different now.
yeah,
I mean, it's funny, right? Because we keep talking about that juxtaposition where Arnold is the hero now. Like now, like the sort of the public when you think about the Terminator, it's like, oh, and Arnold is the good guy Terminator. Like that's just accepted, right? But it was a big paradigm shift for this one.
right.
It's weird how like because we've spent some time talking about the new one, and I mentioned too. I was like, it's like they've taken all the bits and pieces that people sort of think of as the Terminator.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, we got to have Arnold in there, and he's got to be the good guy, and we got to do this, and we got to have Sarah Connor, and she's got to be the badass. Like all those pieces, the sort of the iconic version of the Terminator was formed in this film, arguably.
yeah, for sure. I mean, because I think the first one was kind of like a cult hit, right? I mean, it was like a hit, but it wasn't like, this was like a worldwide blockbuster.
Yeah,
This is the
well,
one
I
I think
mean,
most people would probably draw from if you think of.
well, I mean, T2 is basically peak Schwarzenegger.
Right,
Like, see, and there you go, right there. He sampled him
right,
because he stepped on him, right?
right.
Now this right here, when
This
he
is
when the
same, yeah.
T1000 takes this guy's form, they're twins.
Right.
They're
What's his name? I
actually
got it right
twins.
here. Don Stanton. Yeah, been in a lot of stuff. Um, That's so funny. I always look at the Terminator coming up. I've never noticed the guy's picking his nose. Um, yeah, so that's perfect. I mean, and they do that trick later too as Sarah, which coincidentally Linda Hamilton has a twin, so they're
Who
able
knew
to.
Linda Hamilton has an identical twin?
Yeah, isn't that funny? You don't even need to do a visual effect. You can just get it's so perfect for this.
Well, and you could if you I love this because you'd think it's split screen,
Right. That's
So
really
it's
disturbing.
people would be looking for the seam. I
Yeah. And
wonder
you
if he
got like
felt bad stabbing his brother in the face.
right. When you got that weird dummy head that's like sort of off-putting because the proportions just don't feel human-like completely.
Right. Little uncanny valley going on.
Yeah, which only adds to the creep factor. There we go. A lot of lock picking coming up here. I can't think of the actor's name right here, but the orderly, the African American orderly, he's in a great movie called Fear of a Black Hat.
Oh yeah,
Which is
one of your
yeah,
favorites.
it's basically like Spinal Tap for early '90s rap, and he plays a guy that becomes like a PM Dawn kind of guy. He's hilarious.
That's so funny.
So anyway, you knowing again with deleted scenes that this guy was such a prick to her and like abusive to her, even more so, you really get why she probably relishes smacking this guy's face here.
Well, I don't think you need the deleted scenes. I think the face lick does
Yeah.
a lot of lifting.
Well, there's even more of a history of abuse, but that's pretty brutal. She's like, "Stay down." That's kind of a nice reveal, isn't it? Where he just looks in there and he sees like a broken broom handle. Like, what the? It's coming. Oh, snap! I love this like James Cameron blue, by the way. Like, all
Right,
his
yeah.
movies had that like blue tint to them.
Why does he favor that? You notice that's a recurring theme in his films.
I don't know. It looks cool though. It's like this steely sort of cold look.
It almost, I mean, I would argue it almost like distances you from the characters because it's such a cold color.
Yeah,
It lacks the warmth of something, brighter.
yeah. This is my favorite practical transformation back, where it's like just the
That's all
guard.
you need.
Isn't that great? But it like
Yeah.
totally works. You got the
Yeah.
guard walking, and then the camera pans up to the wall, and then just pans back. It's obvious he stopped walking. Then Robert Patrick stepped in, but it just friggin' works.
Well, that's, I mean, movie magic at its best, where you don't even think about how they did it.
Right. Here's all her moves coming in because we know for a while she was training in the desert. I remember this feeling really like cold and sort of scary to me as a kid when she puts the Drano in the syringe.
That's some messed up stuff. I wonder how many people got that idea because of this movie.
Yeah, way to go, Cameron. Oh, and she says the wrong amount of bones in the human body. I think she says 215. I don't have the sound up, but then I think it's actually less. Actually, now it's probably more. Every year there's like new discoveries. Science. Hashtag science wow.
Science, wow. I swear, I won't kill anyone.
Yeah. Which again, this is totally played for laughs, and you're laughing like at this killing machine. I swear I won't kill anyone. And then he completely like blasts this guy's kneecaps off, and he's like, "Ah!" like screaming in terror. It's like the darkness and the light of this movie is just does this delicate dance.
He's like, I didn't kill him. Waka,
Right,
waka.
right. Yeah, exactly. Like this is like horrifying. You see the blood splatter on the wall, but it's like he'll live, and it's like played for laughs.
That's what your R rating gets you.
Yeah. Which is funny because I mean this movie it earns its R, but I would say this is kind of a light R, wouldn't you?
Well, I think today, with a few minor cuts, it would be a PG-13 for sure, with a few minor tweaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that says more about how lax the PG-13 has become than anything else.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That guy looks like Matt Stone of South Park.
He does.
Doesn't he?
He
That one
does.
guard. There's no
He
way,
does.
Connor. All right. Stop me, Zach. I'm just going to start quoting.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be a one-man show. Brian Hall does T2.
Yeah.
Now, I was reading about the character of Dr. Silverman. Not the actor, but the character appears in an episode of the TV series, which is the Sarah Connor Chronicles. He was played by Bruce Davison.
Oh, not same actor.
The character, not the actor. So
But Lena
Dr.
Headey
Silverman.
and I don't remember if John Connor was a guy or not.
You don't remember if John Connor was a guy?
Like an actor that we would all know.
Oh, John Connor is played by. Oh my gosh, I'm totally drawing a blank on his name. Yeah, it's he's like a child actor.
Okay.
I should look that up.
One of
I've actually
those.
I would have. Now, as big a
this poor
Terminator
guy here.
fan as you are,
Yeah.
you never did see the TV show.
No. Yeah, and that sounds snobby, but I just figured on Fox. Like if it was on cable, I might have given it a little more of a shot, but
Sure.
I just figured it wouldn't. It's like TV shows for me, like they're getting much, much better, but they've never figured out how to be cinematic. Whereas I feel like
Right.
HBO and all these other networks, Breaking Bad, AMC, like they feel cinematic, and that's what I want out of my. If I'm gonna have a Terminator show, I want it to be cinematic. I don't want to see the
Right.
TV version. I want to forget I'm watching TV. But I feel like shows have gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
I love this whole thing. I mean, again, this is just a race between who can put a key in a lock quick enough for you to feel it. And then when she breaks that key off, I was always like, oh man, she makes it look so easy. I literally did that like a month ago in my mailbox. Broke my key off on accident.
That was your homage to T2.
Yeah, pretty frustrating. Anyway, so this is the moment Zachy was talking about where we're like, okay, I think she's getting out here, and we know that Arnold is a good guy.
Right.
But she does not. The only last memory she has is of him, of that face, like clawing at, well, actually the robot, but clawing at her, like almost touching her nose in a machine before she compresses it.
Right. Well, and I mean, I think what's so perfectly conveyed is the nightmare that she must be feeling.
It does feel like a nightmare, doesn't it? The slow-mo and the the sound.
Because when you think about it, like in her mind, the Terminator represents this dark future. So what is, and she's all drugged up and, who knows what's going on in her head. And then she sees that future again. Does it feel real? I mean, it's just masterful,
I love this right here. Throw the guy into the window and then the guy through the door window. This is so brutal.
This takes me back to when I used to hang out at bars.
Yeah. Yeah. He just shoves this lady.
Yep. I used to do that too. Got in trouble for that.
Come with me if you want to live. This is
Now,
like become like the signature line that they feel
I,
like they have to shoehorn in every damn thing.
that's deeply upsetting to me that that line has become the thing because it is literally in every single version of this franchise.
Right, and I'll be back. As tired as that is, I get it. You got to do it. But
Yeah.
wait, by the way, this is probably by far the coolest. I think one of the coolest displays of the
Oh, it's
T1000
perfect.
effect. Where he goes, this is so amazing because right, he goes through the bars. You see him go through his face, and then clink. He's
Right.
got to
Just
go through.
and I love that they didn't have to do that.
No,
And it's just this
that
little
feels
thing.
Spielbergy, if you ask me.
Right. No, totally, yeah.
He grounds the fantasy, so you're like, you buy
Well,
it
and
more.
and to be honest, it's almost unfair to say something
Right.
James Cameron did feels Spielbergy because
No,
he's
he's
just
in his
James
own
Cameron's
right. Yeah.
that good. You know,
No, for sure. Oh man, this is so
this is
rad.
another great
Let me-
effect right here. I love this.
Yeah, then he blows his head open right here.
Now this part of that was a practical.
Yeah, which looks pretty cool and terrifying. Which, by the way, speaking of watching behind the scenes things, I remember watching a thing. I remember it was Good Morning America, and they were talking about Foley work. That was the first time I ever knew what Foley work was. Which, if people don't know, that's when they, when you shoot a film, like you can't capture every sound, and you need to enhance things and create sort of the sound design of a film. So I'd say over 50% of the sound is manufactured later, and it's not the actual thing that you're seeing. It's like these creative people in a room watching the movie with like tin cans and hammers and leaves and stepping on weird sorts of things to recreate things that are enhanced versions of the sounds that you should be seeing on screen. So anyway, I remember when the Terminator does his sort of like morphing, and particularly when he goes through the jail cell sort of bars there, that was the sound of dog food sliding out of a can.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, who thinks of that? But
Who
it
thinks of that?
totally, it works, Which, by the way, I always felt bad for this guy. This
He's a-
security guy, just boom right in
Well,
that concrete pylon.
if all you get in a Terminator movie is a bump on the noggin
Yeah,
when you're an innocent bystander, you're getting off easy.
Think of this, by the way. You got the elevator here with the broken lamp, which is like swinging around right there, and you got this liquid metal. So I mean, a completely CGI creation. Not only do you have the CGI creation, which is new and probably difficult to do, but they're like, you know what? Let's screw with the lights and make it even more complicated, and come up
Right.
with like some crazy moving reflection on it. I'm sure Cameron was just like, you know what? Yes, that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? But it totally sells it because you're like, it's there because it's reacting to its environment.
Well, knowing what we know about James Cameron's disposition, I'm sure he was just a teddy bear when he was dealing with the computer people as they were trying to like invent the language of computer animation.
Oh, dude, those guys didn't sleep. They're like, dude, we lost another man. He's just like, screw you.
I think they have PTSD until this day, you know.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Now, this scene, by the way, we should point out, was parodied on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
In Homer Loves Flanders.
The T-1000 chasing our heroes out into the parking lot. Yeah.
Faster, Nettie! I can't. It's a Geo.
So right here, particularly, where the T-1000 turns his arms into hooks and he's crawling up the car. Which, by the way, here you can see it's a dummy. Still looks cool though. But and so Homer has 2 golf clubs, and then he's like climbing up the back of the car, chasing. And then you can see this is rear projection here. But I mean, if you're not looking for it,
right? Like, why would you be? You know?
Yeah.
If you do your job right as the filmmaker, then you're focused on the foreground.
Yeah. Which now would be like a CGI plate where it would be like obvious that the lighting doesn't match up. But at least there, like they lit it to something that was there, so it kind of matches up better.
You know, the other interesting thing is how physically the T-1000 is no match. I mean, on just aesthetically, I should say. You know, he's very slight, he's very wiry, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is obviously this behemoth of a man. And yet, we never don't buy, I should say, that the T-1000 is a real threat.
Oh, for sure. What a funny little moment here too. I don't even know if I would call it funny, but having that little glob of himself like reattach.
And again, this is
what a little detail.
It's all just stuff that pays forward the moment at the end when we see I was gonna say, well, I don't want to spoil it, but if you're listening to the commentary, then you know where this is coming. When you see the melted shards of the T-1000 all come together.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're right. A little foreshadowing there, huh? I see everything. So yeah, this is obviously all rear projection, but you get this nice little emotional moment
This is,
here.
I love this. This is
Reunited,
perfect.
but yeah, he thinks he's being hugged by his mother. Hasn't went through all this to bail her out, and then she's just making sure he's not injured, and she's mad at him now.
Well, and and he gets emotional here, and you realize he's just a
He's a
kid.
boy.
You know?
Yeah,
He's just this little kid. He's 10 years old.
yeah. And
And
it's
when
funny
you
too
think about it,
because good.
well, I mean, his mother is messed up.
Oh, for sure,
I mean,
for
she is
sure.
damaged goods.
Well, and you think when you first meet John and he's hanging out with his bud and his friend sees that picture, he's like, it's my mom. She's crazy. Screw her. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then when he
Yeah.
finds out that she could possibly die, it sort of reignites something in him, and now he's hoping for this reunion he's probably fantasized about, and she's spoiling it.
Right. So this right here, we have kind of the family unit.
Right. You know what's
You
funny
know?
too? Like looking at Connor Cry here, Edward Furlong. I actually don't know what people think about him because I have my own personal feelings about this movie. But like, I think he's a good little actor. I mean, child actors, they're a friggin' miracle if you could
Right.
find one. You know what I mean? And I feel like for whatever things that he maybe doesn't do on this movie, I'd say like he's really good.
Well, I think he's good for what the role calls for.
Right.
I can only imagine that if you are a child actor, you know, James Cameron is who you want directing you because by hook or by crook, he's going to get the performance he wants.
Right.
And
Right. There's a funny moment right here.
now, this leads to another deleted scene, I believe, where just right around here, where they do some surgery on the Terminator.
Yeah, so it starts with Sarah asking Arnold, basically, so you're a killing machine, you got files, she's like, I want to know everything, I think she just said. But then he mentions, which they cut, that he has the capability to learn. Because
Right.
she's saying, he's like, I got detailed files on anatomy, and she's like, makes you a more efficient killer, huh? And he's like, yep. But then he also mentions that he has the capability to learn, but it's not switched on. And so right now we see her pulling bullet holes out of him. But then in a deleted scene, she actually cuts open his head and pulls back a flap of skin, and we see the chip inside his head. And they switch it to have him learn. So he can learn from human behavior and become a little bit, not human, but
Humanish.
humanish. Yeah, but it's a fascinating scene because it does slow down the pace, perhaps, but I mean, I think story-wise it's pretty interesting. But there again, they do this whole kind of crazy camera movement where you're seeing Sarah in a mirror. I think they go through a mirror or something weird, but they used her twin. So it was like her twin mimicking her movements, pretending there was a mirror there, but there was no mirror.
Yeah.
It's just one of those crazy little things.
I think it's worth pointing out the pacing of this film too. I mean, we're more than an hour in, and really, when you think about it, we still haven't gotten to the central quest of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's been all set up up till now, and I think it says something about how effectively we've gone through it, that they make you forget that really we're just laying pipe right now. This is all pipe laying.
Yeah.
Because there's so much sort of exposition that we have to get through.
Well, I guess it's been a series of quests, huh? First get the boy, then get the mom.
There you go.
What?
Now who's the who
You're
is
agreeing with
the?
me.
I was agreeing with yes. You're like you do that so rarely.
I didn't know.
I'm not
Cheers.
serious.
Okay, what were you saying?
Who is the hero of this film?
Oh, I mean, it's. I guess it's not a traditional hero's journey per se, even though everyone has an arc.
Yeah.
I think it's John, growing into a leader, even though I don't think he realizes it.
Yeah.
I guess it's Sarah coming out of a state that she was in and becoming more human again. And then I guess, like you said, I mean, the hero of the movie is Miles Dyson. He's the one who has the beginning, a middle, and an end, an arc.
Right.
Which, and like you said, we're an hour into this, and we haven't even spent time with him except for exposition. He might not even be a main character for all we know at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the interesting thing is that structurally this is a very off the beaten path movie. It doesn't easily. I mean, again, this is not Joseph Campbell just connect all the pieces.
Right.
Luke Skywalker is this, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is this, and here's the hero's journey is this. Like we don't get that here.
Right.
And
look at those
and
guns, by the way, those kids are playing with. They actually look like real guns, even though kids' guns would never look like that.
well, do you remember Entertech water guns?
No. Am I wrong?
So this is from like when we were kids, probably in the mid '80s, and they were these water guns that were not neon green or whatever. They were black, and
Right.
they looked like Uzis and pistols and everything else. And it's like, what were they thinking?
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, and that's why every gun now, if you buy like a toy gun, it's like green and blue and pink, and just because, yeah, I mean, you get caught walking around with that thing, you don't know what's going to happen.
It's funny because I remember as a kid being like, man, these toy guns suck, like the ones that are all these multicolors. And now as a parent, I'm like, why would you have toy guns that look like real guns?
Right. Right. Which, by the way, I mean, that's like a nice little moment of levity there, where you have like the kids shooting at each other, as we all did.
Right.
And but it's 10-year-old John Connor seeing it from a different perspective now, being exposed to all this violence.
Right.
Again, and he has kind of the wisdom peeking through of what he's going to be. Which, by the way, there was another deleted scene there, where before we see Sarah sadly eating that burger, John and Arnold are buying burgers for them, and he tells Arnold he needs to lighten up and smile more. You remember that?
Right. Yeah.
So
They cut that out of this version.
So there's a moment where, he's just like, smile like this, and then Arnold looks at like a woman smiling or something, and then he tries to replicate it, and he looks really goofy and kind of funny. And Cameron says he cut it out because he didn't ever want the Terminator to actually be a clown.
And that makes sense, right?
Oh, totally. It was silly. You know what I mean? You want him to react as the Terminator to things, to mind comedy, but not have him creating comedy.
It reminds me of a deleted scene in the third Terminator where we meet the physical inspiration for the Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen
Right.
this? But he
Yeah.
sounds like some
Goofy.
some shit kicker from Texas or something.
Right.
And it's kind of the same thing where it's like and I think to your point, I think the third Terminator punctures that balloon a little bit, where the first scene is him at a gay bar.
Yeah, well, I was going to point that out earlier, and you reminded me, but you get this, like, the Terminator just stabbed these dudes and threw them out windows, and it's kind of, like, throws a guy on a burner on a stove, but then he comes out to bad to the bone, which is kind of funny. And then, he takes the guy's sunglasses and puts them on and looks like a cool guy, and it's funny, but it's not crazy over the top. But then they tried to recreate that in Terminator 3, right, where he goes to the gay bar, does the talk to the hand joke, which was dated when the movie came out, and then,
Right.
and then he puts on the sunglasses, which you're like, oh, are they going to be these badass wraparounds or something like he was wearing? But no, they're these goofy star-shaped sunglasses. I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh. Like,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. Like, this movie's not going to be good.
Well, and it's unfortunate because I think that specific, that what you're talking about, that gag, is about as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
So in other words,
For that
they
film, or are you saying that's the worst joke they could possibly do?
no, I mean in that movie, like that was about as bad as it got.
Yeah. Well, sure. It's very inauthentic, too. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, yeah.
Right, and it's unfortunate that that's something they left in, because I don't think the rest of the movie ever goes that low,
Yeah. I
So
think some
it's
funny humor
unfortunate
here.
that
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob. And he picks up this kid here. Again, he's not being a clown. He's being himself, but creating comedy by picking up this
and,
little
and
boy.
and he's endearing. I mean, the innocence is
Yeah.
is endearing,
Yeah. So then we get a peek at what Sarah's been up to since 1984, hanging out in the
Right.
desert, a cache of weapons in the ground.
Just a normal middle class life.
Yeah, and then we see that John's very familiar with this. Like, come on, let's get the weapons. Like this was his childhood.
It's sort of interesting because you know she spent her time preparing him for being a leader and whatnot, but you wonder, like, did she do more damage than like just giving him a normal life? Like, would that have been
Well, apparently not. It worked out, right? Saw the beginning of the movie. He's a pretty good leader, right? Right?
touche? See, I have a theory about the Terminator timeline, right? My theory is that the reason the future happens is because John Connor exists.
Ah,
I ever tell you this?
I'm not sure.
So basically, Kyle Reese comes back in time.
Okay.
He impregnates Sarah Connor. She gives birth to John Connor, right? So the reason John Connor exists is because of this future technology, right?
Okay.
So in
Okay.
other words, it doesn't matter what they do in the present to stop Skynet from happening, because the product of Skynet already exists, John
Yeah.
Connor.
Right. Right.
So in other words, the timeline has to fix that, and the only way to fix that is by, he's not blinking out of existence. So in other words, the circumstances that created him have to happen.
Right.
Does that make
Oh,
sense?
man. I mean, yeah, but I mean, when you get into this time travel stuff, it's just like it becomes this
That's-
crazy. Which, by the way, we got this scene here now where John Connor's underneath the car helping the T-800, fix the engine so they can get out of there. And if you'll notice that Edward Furlong looks pretty damn young here, a lot
Right.
younger than he did in the rest of the movie. And so apparently they had to loop this entire movie because he grew and his voice changed, and you can hear it a lot. I mean, he's kind of screechy when he yells because he was just at that age. But yeah, apparently it was a lot of work. They had to pretty much loop his whole.
Did
whole movie
did
for him.
James Cameron not take into account that his actor was pubescent?
Well, I mean, look at him there. I mean, he looks so young right here.
Now, how
You
how
think-
old was Edward Furlong when they made this movie?
I'd have to look. But I mean, this is like an effective little moment here too, where he's having. I don't know. You just buy into all the emotions here, where he's just thinking about his father and the future and all this stuff. He's saying
Well,
messing
and
with his
and it's
head.
a monologue.
Yeah, it's a monologue, and I think he handles it expertly, honestly. And then you got Arnold here. Why do you cry? He's learning.
Why do you cry?
Let's see. He was born in Edward Furlong was born in '77,
Is that right?
so 14, something like that. Well, he would have been 12 or 13 when they made this.
It's a shame about Edward Furlong. He never really had that much of a career after this.
Now, the only other thing I would think was kind of significant was American History X,
That's right.
which is good. Rough, but good.
He actually was originally going to reprise the role in Terminator 3.
That's a damn shame. That would have helped me a lot, honestly, I think.
Okay.
Just for
You-
continuity's sake and whatnot.
You didn't dig what's his name? Nick Stahl.
Nick Stahl? No.
It's
I'm not saying it
crazy.
was bad, but it didn't work for me.
It didn't feel like the same guy.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my understanding is he was expecting to come back and everything, and then it's just he's had some drug issues, and I think there may have been insurance problems.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Which is
if it-
unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember reading that he was discovered on a playground. I think
Is that right?
director saw him on a playground and just like that kid. There's something to that kid, and then they cast him. And Mally Finn actually cast this movie, and I met her.
Is that right?
Yeah, that she was casting. She's prolific casting, and her daughter I think has carried on the mantle.
Wow.
She passed away a few years ago.
Oh, I love this sequence here, by the way. I want to
Oh,
play
man,
that.
yeah.
Where we're watching them play, and then we're hearing her narration, and it drives home the connection that not that they form, but that John forms with him.
Right. Which is funny because it goes from a scene that's comedy where he's doing high five, down low, too slow, and you laugh. But yeah, then when
Right.
Sarah starts watching them in slow mo, I mean, think about this. We take this for granted how well that works because if some lesser filmmaker did that, it could become like comedy, where it becomes
Right.
slow mo. Like, look at my boy playing with a machine. You'd be like, okay, come on. But you don't.
Right.
You're like, yeah, look at that boy playing with that machine. You know what I mean? Like, you buy it.
Well, and I think part of it is because we have Linda Hamilton's narration bookending the whole film, and
Right.
so we have a window into her thought process anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great sequence here where we see Judgment Day happening.
Talk about a nightmare.
It really, I mean, and the way it's executed, again, you can see like goes to what I was talking about earlier, how the line between dream and reality is just a complete blur for her
Yeah.
because this is staged so similarly to when the Terminator first shows up at the Pescadero.
Right. Right. And she
You know,
sees
it,
herself as a younger woman here.
and
Yeah.
this is the same playground that we see in the beginning.
Right. That's all aflame during the
Yeah.
opening titles. Oh yeah, the girl in the swing. You're right. Um, Man, talk about. I mean, yeah, obviously these effects are, and I don't say this negatively, but yeah, you can tell they're dated a little bit. They're like models when the buildings go. But man, if it isn't, I still find it terrifying, honestly.
I I,
The
I think
nuclear blast.
there's something distinctly unnerving about how the apocalypse is depicted here, and I think part of it is because it feels so possible.
Right.
Um, it doesn't feel especially science fiction-y. It feels like something that, God forbid, you could look up one day and see happening.
Yeah. Yeah. This is horrifying imagery.
So yeah, I showed my 8-year-old this sequence, and
Sarah Connor
uh,
turning to ash.
yeah, he's been hiding in the closet for the past 4 days, and he won't talk to me.
Yeah. Oh, we should get some a word from him. He just comes out. He's like, "Save me, Brian."
Yeah, he's just rocking back and forth, staring catatonically into the wall.
Right. But yeah, watching these people like Ash is blown away. I mean, it looks good. You know what I mean? Yeah. This doesn't look.
I mean, it looks terrible, but it looks good.
No, but it doesn't look removed from reality.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we see the skin flay off her bones, I mean that's just astonishing. And again, the sequence is staged very well, and you have to figure like what is that, like 30 seconds maybe? How
Yeah.
much preparation and planning and
Oh
expense
man,
went into visualizing that, you know?
I know. But then think about this too. Like now we get what she's thinking. Like
Yeah,
hell no, that's not happening. You know what I mean? So you
yeah,
That's how we can have. I mean, obviously we're talking spoilers here. We can have the hero, one of the heroes of our movie, go to murder another person, and we
yeah,
sympathize with her.
right.
You know what I mean? I've honestly never really thought about it because I've just gone along with the story. But that's from like a screenwriting perspective. That's insanity to have your hero try to murder someone else, and still be on her side.
Right. I mean, you
But it
need to set the
totally works.
stakes.
You need to set the stakes, and we saw it. We saw the horrifying vision that she is trying to prevent. So we get it. No
And then
fate.
now the no fate but what we make for ourselves. It, I've always is that line in the first movie?
You know what? I remember in the deleted scene with
Okay.
Kyle Reese, he says it. I don't recall if it's actually in the first movie or not.
That's because I feel I'm happy to be proven wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure that phrase "no fate but what we make for ourselves" is not in the original one.
You've probably seen that one more than I have, so if you say it, I believe you. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
gonna
recall.
Google that up because I'm actually curious about that myself.
Yeah. Wait, what was that reminded me of something else I was gonna say. Oh well, just the deleted scenes. You know, I'll just say this real quick. This was one of the first movies I think I ever saw a director's cut, and I
Right.
remember because this came out obviously in the VHS days, and I had rented this movie like ad nauseum, and so then one day I was at a store, probably like a Sam Goody or something, and I saw the cover look different than what I was used to, and it said director's cut. There was two tapes. One was the regular version, one was the director's cut, and I was like, what the heck is that? And so anyway, I ended up seeing the director's cut, and it was just sort of mind blowing to see this movie that you knew so well, but with this additional footage in it. And like now that's like completely normal. But that was something kind of unique. I don't remember anything like that beforehand. And I've seen that version a lot, and that's why I know these scenes so well, these deleted scenes. But I prefer the theatrical cut.
You
always.
prefer the theater? Well, and I think honestly, James Cameron is one of the few directors who you have to give him a lot of credit because he has the discipline to cut out like pretty integral stuff. You know what I mean? Like I don't think like if you let me put it this way: if the theatrical cut had been the director's cut, I don't think any of the deleted scenes you would have pointed to and been like, oh, why is that in here? You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
But he has the discipline to be able to say, well, we don't need that. You know, and that's very rare because with overwhelmingly every single Cameron film, well, with the possible exception of The Abyss, like the theatrical cut is just as strong.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, I would argue The Abyss. I think the director's cut is a better version of the movie.
Right. Makes a little more sense.
This is a great sequence right here.
This is a horrifying sequence.
It's
so effective.
Well, and again, he's just a guy, you know.
He has no idea what's going on. Yeah, and I wanted to point out too the whole scene where you've got his little boy Danny. That's how many times I've seen this movie. His little boy's name is Danny. He's got that remote control car because you're like, oh, we're in a house, we're a little boy, normal people. But then the car is used as a storytelling device to build tension. You know that the closer that thing gets, the closer she's getting, and then eventually it makes you feel amped up.
Yeah. Just
visually, but then it's also used as a device to get him to duck. And that's just, again, that's what good storytellers do.
Just the staging.
The staging. Staging. That's what good filmmakers do, staging, which I don't know why people don't do that anymore, or as much. It's funny, it feels old school.
The wife is played by S. Epatha Merkerson.
But she hasn't done anything that Zachy would be familiar with other than this.
She literally, within a year of doing this movie, she wound up on Law and Order, and she was Lieutenant Van Buren on Law and Order for 18 seasons.
Wow. And for people who don't know, Zachy is probably the hugest Law and Order fan I know.
Dude, I'm going through like a full rewatch of Law and Order right now. I'm up to the 6th season, so
nice.
I'm expecting a law degree in the mail any day now. I'm hoping.
But again, dude, like Sarah Connor, she's got a little about to murder a guy right blow his face off. And you got a little boy, his boy crying, saying, "Don't shoot my daddy," and you still feel bad for Sarah, right?
She is not a likable character in this movie.
No, I'm not saying you feel cuddles for her or anything, but like, I don't know. I can't distance how many times I've seen this movie, but like you get her. Let's put it that way. You get her. You get her motivations.
All I'm saying is, if Kyle Reese showed up right now, I think he'd be like, "I can't believe I came back in time for you."
Yeah. He'd be like, "Whoa, what are you doing?
What are you doing?"
hey, Cuckoo McCrazy Pants, slow down. Yeah. Then you got John tending to his mother. We get this I love this like nice little sweet. You came for me. You are a good boy. She never says like you're gonna be a heck of a leader, or anything like tipping, anything stupid. But then all of a sudden we cut back to the term like, holy crap, put pressure on the bleeding. I've always found it slightly jarring here actually, because you got the music, which like these little violins. Oh, she goes right here. She's like, I love you. And then all of a sudden you cut to like this poor woman like sobbing like over her halfway murdered husband.
Right.
Oh, right, that. Right? Yeah, you get this little tender moment here.
And again,
I remember the music swells and then all of a sudden just stops. Anyway.
I think it's just the way we see John portrayed, where he's a leader even now. He's making the moral decisions.
He's calming the woman down.
Yeah. Well, and when you say it that way, like,
well, that came out completely wrong.
He's doing man's work.
No, that's not what I meant. I love this dude. Just show him.
Well, I mean, and just
that was planned. Like, was he just like, yeah? He's like, oh, then show me a room. But like, did was this like a contingent they had? He's just like, I'll flip out a knife and you cut off your arm if it comes to that. Because it
He's
seems like
like-
something they had pre-planned.
they worked out a couple different options.
Yeah, this still is pretty horrifying too. There's a lot of palatable horror in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see the R rating at work here.
Yeah, I guess you're right here.
He
But
pulls
this
it
is
off like a glove.
in a practical effect, but it totally works. That's crazy
Yeah.
looking.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it still looks good. And then you got the I was gonna say woman again. I sound terrible, but Dyson's wife freaking out. But then you got Miles Dyson like, oh,
He
I love
recognizes
his
it.
turn here. Yeah,
Well, and I mean, when you like now, granted, obviously, the guy cutting his arm off and seeing the metal hand, I guess that would be a big thing. But I mean, he takes these people on faith.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, all right, sounds legit. Okay, you know.
Well, and you totally buy it too. You know what I mean? Like, how many movies have you watched where you're like, well, the guy only did that decision because the script dictated it, but like, you totally get his you speak of like him being the hero. I mean, look, he's just like, he feels sick, but he's like, well,
Yeah.
we got to destroy everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? His life's work, and he does have a moment, right? I think where he's sort of
Yeah, in the
In the-
facility.
it's Cyberdyne, yeah, but he's like, gotta do what we gotta do. And it's talk about staging again here. You know, he's got the lamp over his head, spotlight's all on Dyson, but then you got Sarah just smoking in the background, like this weird sort of golem. You know,
Right.
like she's this twisted creature now.
Well, and again, John is in command now.
Yeah, you're right. He told the Terminator what to do. He calmed his mother down. Now he tells his mother to shut up.
Yeah, like I mean, we see the transition happen, and again, it's one of the again, I would argue that he's the way he is not because of anything his mom did for him
Right.
in terms of teaching him. I think that's just it's his character because I think she screwed him up.
Yeah. She's the reason he robs ATMs.
Exactly.
I love this whole thing too. He's like, "Well, we got to destroy everything," and then they're like,
Yeah.
"Let's go." And he's like, "What? Oh, now?"
Right.
Oh man, I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. I never get tired of this movie.
Yeah.
I could watch
It's.
this.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I would draw. You know, I got pretty good at drawing Schwarzenegger
Oh really?
as the Terminator because I got pretty familiar with the contours of his face and just how because I would trace his portrait and whatnot as a Terminator just to draw him.
That's funny.
Do you remember the Terminator action figures?
I sort of do.
Yeah, they had a whole line. It was from Kenner.
Yeah,
And-
kind of.
It was, I mean, well, it was weird, right? Because it was this era. We're talking early '90s, where suddenly we started seeing toys based on R-rated movies.
Yeah, well, I used to have the movie cards for this.
Okay,
They
yeah,
had like movie cards because I collected baseball, basketball. I collected so many, and then then they had movie cards. The first ones I remember for '89 Batman.
Yep. I remember
and,
those. I had a bunch of
yeah.
those.
And then I got the Terminator movie cards, but yeah, I mean it's funny because they were totally trying to appeal to kids.
Yeah, and now it's a lot more common, but I feel like back then it was something that was relatively rare.
Yeah. I wonder why. When I was saying that this feels like a light R, I guess since rewatching it a little bit right now, maybe it doesn't in a lot of spots. But
That's right.
but at the same time, I feel like it's a movie where the violence isn't gratuitous necessarily, or it isn't it's not for your pleasure to enjoy watching the violence necessarily. The good guys are good and they're trying to do good. You know what I mean? There is sort of the spirit of the movie is positive, I guess, whereas other movies it's more how many guys can this guy the hero waste with a machine gun? You know what I mean?
But is that what the MPAA issues ratings based on? It's well,
No, but I'm just saying why maybe
their
so
heart's
many
in the right
kids-
place.
No, I just mean why so many younger kids probably saw this movie. It's not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I'm thinking about because yeah, for sure people our age should not have been watching this movie.
But we all did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this guy. Ah, damn it. Where are you going? You know, I told you you can't leave the desk. Holy crap! I love his little
That's right.
hair. The security guard.
Yeah, I remember the first time they showed this on TV, it was on like ABC or NBC.
I remember that. I was so excited. I taped it off
Yeah.
TV.
And they pretty much chopped the guts out of it because all the cool stuff that you remember was gone.
You know, I don't exactly recall, but I don't. Oh, by the way, when he's like, "Sweet dang, my card should access this." My brother and I say that to each other all the time. My card should access this. Um, I lost my train of thought. What were you just saying? I'm sorry.
I was talking about
Oh, ABC when they hacked it up.
that's right.
I don't remember how badly they hacked it up, if I'm being honest.
Oh my gosh. Because I had seen it enough times on home video where like basically all the moments of violence were gone, obviously.
Yeah, like anytime like a knife pierced through somebody, like that truck driver,
Yeah.
I remember in particular.
Like Xander Berkeley did not get impaled in the head in the
Right.
ABC version. It's very
Right. He's
disappointing.
like, I'm leaving. My planet needs me. And they're like, "Ooh," and took him out
You
of
see
frame.
him
Like,
like a cell.
oh, thank goodness he lived. Um, here, let me try mine. Doosh. And this is like now the theme of the third act of this movie. Well, this isn't the third act yet, but is basically the T-800 Arnold here just blows down doors for the rest of the movie. He just keeps like using his grenade launcher to blow down doors.
Yeah, yeah. If you were a little kid and you wanted like a crash course in different kinds of armament, you just needed to watch T2 like from this moment on,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, oh, okay, that's a grenade launcher. Good to know, and that's a this, and that,
Put
There's
these
a
on.
there's a scene in the first Terminator where he goes into a gun store and
Oh yeah, oh, dude, that seems hardcore.
yeah, the owner of the gun store is the guy from Gremlins. What's his name? The neighbor from Gremlins. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I can't think of his name offhand.
But you
But
know
yeah,
what
I
I'm
know
talking
what
about, like the guy. Anyway,
yeah.
but Arnold is like listing off all these guns. He's like Uzi 9mm and all this. And I realized I was like 5 or 6 and I knew the names of guns.
Right. Right. Which, by the way, we're watching now the T-1000 inspecting the damage that was done at Miles Dyson's place. When was the last time we saw the T-1000?
That's
The mental
right.
institution. He's been gone for a very long time.
And yet we haven't missed him.
No, there's been enough going on.
Wow, that's
about
true.
But now we get a whole heck of a lot of him.
Speaking of the action figures, there was an action figure that looked like this of the
Where he's got
T-1000,
that motorcycle helmet on.
the motorcycle helmet and stuff. But they made him too bulky, so he kind of looked like Tackleberry from the Police Academy movies. So that didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. I had the T-800, and he came with a right arm that was it turned into different things. So it was like a rocket launcher arm, or like a human looking arm, or
Cool. I want that right now.
I know. Yeah, I had a bunch of
Um,
those. Oh, this is a great sequence right here
Great
coming
set
up.
piece here.
Fantastic, yeah.
Um, and the head of SWAT, which maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but the head of SWAT is actually played by Dean Norris
Oh,
Right.
okay, from Breaking Bad.
from Breaking Bad. Yeah, Walt's brother-in-law. He's the guy that when they got Miles, and he's like, "Fall back, fall back." This is great. All this helicopter stuff.
Easy money.
Easy money. That's what you call a callback. Good thing we set up that he's a hacker. He was a hacker before we even knew what hackers were.
That's true. When Cameron made the first one, you think he had any inclination that he would be able to continue it 7 years out?
No. I mean, how could
You
you,
know,
right?
I mean, because when you watch the first one, like if there had never been anything else that came after it, you could still look at the first Terminator and be like, this is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
because it has a a beginning and a middle, and it has a perfect ending if they chose to leave it there.
Right.
So I mean, the fact that he took this low budget thing and then he was able to come back 7 years later and end up making the most expensive movie ever made. It's almost like you, and here's the line, of course.
Trust me.
That was in all the trailers, I remember.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back.
Why is the Terminator smiling? Yeah.
now,
this
now this right here, by the way,
Good night.
I mentioned before about the music, the John Connor heroic music. We see it again here.
This
And to
scene
me-
just like blew my mind as a kid.
Oh, exactly.
Watching him waste all these cop cars with the minigun.
And then the payoff is the little thing, his display
Yeah.
where
Casualties 0.0.
and that's another thing that they tried to reprise in T3.
I don't remember that.
Same kind of thing. Yeah, there's a shootout in a graveyard.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's the same thing where at the end of it it's like human casualty 0. And I remember being like, you're kind of just like you're playing a greatest hits thing here.
Right, which this movie doesn't do. It doesn't.
Right.
It repeats themes maybe, but it doesn't repeat the first movie. It's its own thing.
It doesn't do Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh man.
Separate commentary track.
Yeah. That's like remember when everything's going wrong for Ned? Oh, same episode that we were referring earlier, and then the sermon that week at the church is called "What Ned Did."
Right. That's the one where they're in church and Homer like is whistling through his nose,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like, stop, breathe through your damn mouth.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember what made me think of that, but okay. So we got this right here, this shot right where that thing blows up in the background with the helicopter. Cameron
Yeah.
repeats it in a lot of his movies.
He
He
really,
has a helicopter floating by with an explosion in the background.
that's a very specific motif to repeat.
Yeah, I just True Lies was on HBO the other day, and I caught it in that, and I feel like it's in something else too, but I love this too. He just like shoves the arm on the ground. All right, you unscrew it. Got Skynet by the balls now, don't we?
That's it's like Edward Furlong is talking to me.
I didn't hold up the microphone to the TV people. Okay, so yeah, Dean Norris is a head SWAT dude as they go in here. The music is pretty cool here, by the way. It's like kind of clicky sounding.
But again, makes for a terrible independent listening experience.
Yeah, you're not gonna want to listen to it while you're jogging, but or do you?
Yeah, it might make you it might improve your ear physique there.
Yeah, think about it. This movie basically from this point on is relentless. This movie does not stop from this point on. It's just thing after thing after thing after thing, and it's all you and I, we try to write things. It's like I don't know what happens next. What about this? And you kind of repeat yourself. Like everything here that comes after this is all separate and interesting and propulsive. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I mean,
Slow mo,
I mean-
not a good sign.
in a Cameron movie, never a good sign when slow-mo happens, yeah.
Oh, this is so hard to watch. Dyson getting wasted here.
Well, and I mean, you see him, he gets shot like 500 times
Mm-hmm.
in the span of, 3 seconds there.
Yeah, but yeah, they linger on it too. Yeah, it's not implied or anything. It's like we watch this poor dude get wasted, so we realize, well, I guess in a way, I mean, this is the guy that helped create the problem, and now he's truly sacrificing himself to prevent the problem.
I mean, really, your heart just breaks for him right here.
I mean, you really think about what he's doing here as an actor, and it's like you sort of take it for granted sometimes when you watch good actors. But like, I mean, imagine yourself in a room filled with a sound dude with a microphone over your head, and James Cameron, you're hoping to please him, being like, okay, you just been shot, go. You'd be like, you'd be worried about feeling stupid, or
Right.
you know what I mean, or like going too far or not far enough. But I mean, watch him, dude. I mean, he's like got this sweat and this blood, and he's like his lower lip is trembling. I mean, that's some good stuff.
Well,
right
and it's coming up, but the way he plays his final moments.
Yeah, his last breaths, trying as
Yeah.
long as he can to delay what he
Yeah.
knows he has to do. So his comrades can get out. There we go, blowing down more doors.
That's what Terminators do best.
Huh. Shooty, shooty.
Now, James Cameron, at the time this movie came, like before this movie, he had basically 4 directing credits to his name,
Wow.
right? I mean, it's weird. Like, collectively, his catalog is not that expansive. He is not a Spielberg.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
Spielberg, it's like he's got what these days, 1 movie every couple of years. For a
Right.
while, he was doing 2 a year.
Yeah.
Cameron basically makes a movie when he feels like it.
And I love the guy, but for goodness sake, his next 3 movies are going to be Avatar movies.
Yeah, so he's moved into Pandora permanently.
He's going through his Zemeckis I make motion capture movie phase.
He is Jake Sully.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get him
But
back though.
we're hoping, right? Well, he's due to get the Terminator rights back in a few years. So
Oh my goodness, can you imagine? I'm not saying. By the way, I'm not saying that the Avatar movies won't be cool. I hope they are, but like I just want to see variety.
something non-Avatar as well.
Yeah. That explosion still looks awesome, doesn't it? There we go. The explosion with the helicopter again. I remember watching the behind the scenes too, where they were doing this. I think they
Yeah,
had like
that sequence. Yeah.
tons of cameras.
Again, so this movie came out in '91. Before this, he did The Abyss, which was 1989.
Which, by the way, if you haven't seen The Abyss, check out The Abyss. You're in for a treat. That's a good movie.
It's a good underrated movie, but it relatively underperformed at the box office.
Yeah, it's but no way reaches the heights of the big camera movies you're thinking of, but it's like this kind of hidden gem, I think.
You know what I remember about The Abyss is that was summer of '89, right? And obviously what movie was getting all the hype in summer? By the way, there it is. I'll be back. What movie was getting all the hype summer of '89?
Oh, Indiana Jones, Batman, Lethal Weapon 2, Ghostbusters 2.
Batman is what I'm thinking of, right?
Yeah.
And on
UHF.
Fox, UHF didn't get quite as much hype, but so WFL. Do you remember they used to air reruns of the Adam West Batman?
Yeah.
So they had this marathon called Batman's Greatest Villain, and it was
Yeah.
to hype up the Batman movie, and it was like 4 Joker episodes.
Mm.
And I remember as they were hyping it, it was like, watch, Batman's Greatest Villain, and blah, blah, and there's a chance to enter a sweepstake to see this summer's most anticipated movie. And I'm thinking, Batman. And they're like, The Abyss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the Abyss?
It's a Fox film. That's
And I'm
hilarious.
like, I had no idea what it was, but that was my first, when I became aware of the existence of that movie.
That's funny. Which, by the way, we got the Terminator coming down the hallway as SWAT's taking him out. You got this mixture of Arnold and prosthetics, and you got a mixture of a puppet that was designed to have its face blown off.
I saw, and this is Stan Winston.
Yep.
The late great Stan Winston.
Yeah. Same idea actually as how they did in the first Terminator when they had the exoskeleton walking around.
Right.
Or endoskeleton. It was like a puppet that someone would wear on their back, and so it'd have this wobble like they were walking.
Yeah, well, the endoskeleton was realized through a practical puppet that was filmed from the waist up, and then also a composited stop motion model.
Right.
And it goes to what you're talking about, where you mix all these different practical effects, and your unconscious mind just looks past the seams.
Right. Which, by the way, I want to point out a moment here that we're a little past it right now, but one of my favorite moments when he's walking out to get the SWAT van, and the guy's out there, the one SWAT guy, and he's like, "Here, hold this," and he and then he takes the guy's mask off or whatever. He's like, "Ah!"
Apparently one-liners are part of the Terminator's new additional programming.
Yeah, here, hold this.
Quippy one-liners.
That's one of those lines. Like my brother and I went and caught this in a theater once. Recently, I mean, and that was one of those lines where we look over at each other in the dark and just da 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 da. One of our favorite lines. This is an amazing stunt right here.
Oh, that's amazing, yeah.
Where we got the T-1000 on a motorcycle, sees the helicopter, so he's going to go commandeer it in the air. Blasts out that window on the motorcycle. That looks unbelievable. bashes in the windshield of the helicopter and pours himself in. I remember actually when you bought the VHS cassette or rented it or whatever, there was a commercial at the beginning trying to get you to buy it. That's what it was. And it showed that moment. And it's like, as you're watching this film, you're probably wondering. And it showed like that moment where he pours into the helicopter. And it shows his family watching the movie. And the kid goes, how did they do that? And it was basically like, well, watch it again and again.
And by the way, we should point out that when the T-1000 gets in the thing and he tells the guy get out,
Yeah.
that's a reprisal of a line of a moment in the first film
Right.
where the Terminator gets in the truck and he tells the guy to get out.
Yeah. And then
Because
the
as
guy
a-
just jumps out.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because as another great director told us, it's like poetry. It repeats itself.
I always, when I watch this, as I'm older now a little bit, I watch this sequence and I'm like, how did they light that freeway? And like because it's this long stretch of freeway, like this looks, actually looks natural, but like you can see there's huge spotlights in the background, but they look sort of like streetlights. But it totally would see those huge spotlights. But you
Now,
just buy it.
how long would it take to film a sequence like this?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. And the thing is, you only have the nighttime. You know what I mean? So you have to go back the next day.
That's brutal.
Yeah. This is a great sequence. And then, some people I've been told haven't noticed this, but the Terminator is flying that helicopter with 3 arms.
Oh, really?
See that? He's got a third arm that's controlling. See that while he's doing that? And there's
That's
another arm
hilarious.
that's controlling
Wow,
the helicopter.
that's so funny.
Yeah. And watch this. So when the helicopter goes underneath the bridge right there, that was something that the camera. See right there, the 3 arms.
Wow, never would have noticed that.
Yeah. And when he flies the helicopter underneath the bridge, the camera crew refused to shoot it because they thought it was too dangerous. And so
Wow.
Cameron, he got one guy to man a truck, and Cameron held the camera. And
So
shot
Cameron
it.
was on it.
Yeah, he's like, well, damn it, we're doing it.
That's nuts.
That's nuts. That's pretty nuts because like now it looks freaking amazing. You got this
Yeah.
helicopter flying under an overpass, but at the same time, I mean, at that night, I don't think the camera crew was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we're able to say like, oh, it looks great, but like, God forbid something went wrong with it. It would be like, the Twilight Zone movie and
Right.
John Landis,
Yeah, look at that helicopter crashing into the back of a friggin' truck. Seriously, man, like whatever you come up with your CGI imaginations, like seeing something that's like real, that's like insane, you know what I mean? Like top something that's unrealistic insane every day.
Why is it that, and notwithstanding even like living creatures, but why is it that we instinctively recognize a CGI truck crashing?
Again,
And
I feel like there's no weight. There's no weight to it, and the physics are wrong. And I mean, think of like the truck flip in Dark Knight. Not as impressive as what you could do with CGI, but you're like, that's a real truck flipping over. That's insane.
yeah,
I always feel bad for that guy.
there's another yeah.
That
That's what
truck
you get
driver.
for like helping
Man,
people. Jerk.
You hurt? And then, whooshing. And that was another practical effect. You can see the behind the scenes. They had this weird thing built into his back that just, and if you watch it and slow mo it, as I have, you can actually see it instead of poking through him. You can see it like flipping up from his
Wow.
back. It's pretty cool. And again, here we go, relentless. As soon as we got a moment to breathe, nope, another truck coming after him. Always made me laugh too, all the bullet holes on the top of the truck. It's almost like a joke.
And if you notice, we talk about how the symmetry between this movie and the first one, it both the first one and this one involve the Terminator in a truck that crashes. They think he's dead, but he comes
Yeah.
back in his.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
It's funny
See,
because this is probably the first time I was ever aware of liquid nitrogen.
Right.
And that's what
right.
I forever associate liquid nitrogen with. Like, because then I remember at school, they would show us like put a rose into liquid nitrogen and then you could crush it.
Right.
And then it's just like I always would associate with this movie. Like, don't stick your hand in it.
James
what were you gonna
Cameron
say?
taught me that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's like what I just described. Sort of these parallels between the first two movies that are subtle enough that they don't hit you over the head with it, but when you think about it, you can appreciate him. I think there's a real balancing act when you make a sequel.
Yeah.
Because you want to echo moments from the previous one that people liked.
Right.
But if you do it too much, it feels like karaoke,
Right. Right. Yeah. Good analogy there. Like karaoke.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny.
I mean,
There
that's
you
where I
go.
think a lot of sequels get tripped up. I mean, and again, we're talking about the third one. I'm a fan of the third one. I do like it, but I fully acknowledge that it's not as good as these two. I tend to say about the third one, it's probably as good a Terminator 3 as you were going to get without having James Cameron involved.
Sure. I'll buy that.
You know?
No, I mean, yeah. It's you're right.
And that's really the problem is that this franchise is his, and it doesn't matter what you do after anything of it he's not involved with feels like you know an attempt to emulate it without
Right.
fully knowing why he did things the way he did.
Doing their best impression of him, but it's never
Yeah,
right.
and I mean, the T2 especially is now old enough that a generation of filmmakers has come of age under
Oh,
its
sure.
influence.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly McG, when he did Terminator Salvation, was trying like hell to
Trying to do
homage.
Cameron.
Yeah, and that's an entirely separate conversation. But
Yeah.
it's I think you just see more and more like you see in that film's relative lack of success why creatively why this one did succeed.
Yeah. This is pretty crazy right here. This steel mill thing where you got this like a big rig on its side
And there was
coming
a
through. I mean,
composite effect right there. You can tell.
yeah. Like
I think it's also interesting how we're like very gradually we're seeing the Terminator, the good guy Terminator, essentially being taken apart.
yeah. Yeah. But you still buy his quote unquote humanity,
Right.
even though he is exposed machine now. This is great
Yeah.
though.
And I mean, if anything, it makes us sympathize for him. I mean, I think that's kind of what Cameron is doing is he has to visibly appear weaker and
Yeah,
damaged.
exactly. Well, that's a good point. Too many times in movies, yeah, when the two heroes don't have weaknesses and they just smash on each other, like the end of Man of Steel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who's gonna lose? This
Right.
still looks so astounding. Where you have the T-1000 now covered in liquid nitrogen and his feet are sticking to the ground.
I mean, how did they pull this off?
Dude, to this day I have no clue this thing where his foot is stuck and then he like
Right.
tumbles right here.
Right.
I have no idea. It looks so good. This crumble, and pulls up with his. I love his look of horror too.
Yeah, when he sees what happened to right.
Oh, it's
Like
fantastic.
that's amazing.
So then we have one of the most famous lines in movie history right here.
It really is one of the most famous lines. Like everybody knows what it's from.
Yeah, hasta la vista, baby. Man, that looks amazing. That thing's smashing apart too. Which is great because I mean that line is, even at the time it was famous when this movie was out, and then it's like, all right, cool. That's how you do it. You freeze them in
It's like
a
okay, we're
chemical
done.
and blow them
We're done.
up. But we ain't done. It's great though. This all he starts melting from the heat from the steel mill. I
Yeah, I
guess
mean,
you assume it's mercury or something that they used.
that they filmed, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's a terrific parallel with the first movie. It's a similar sequence when we see the
Yeah.
endoskeleton for the first time.
Yeah. Both done in originally emerging from heat, I guess. But yeah, I
Yeah.
read somewhere Cameron was saying too that he wanted to do the liquid metal character in the first movie, but
Is that
he
right?
didn't know how to do it. So it kind of makes you now in hindsight be like, oh, that's why he was probably eager to do this one once he had the capability. And Abyss was probably a little bit of a test. Like,
Well,
can
and
this thing
and
exist on screen and be believable?
it's worth pointing out that T2 was not it was not from one of the big studios. It was Carol Co. And you wonder like would one of the big studios have signed off on this?
You know what? I've never thought about that. That this isn't like a Paramount or Warner Brothers movie or
Yeah,
anything.
because I
Yeah,
believe it
wow,
was.
that's some balls there.
Yeah, I
Trusting.
mean, the Carolco folks, and they're sort of legendary because they made some big gambles, and that's ultimately why they went under. But T2 was a huge gamble,
Yeah. Yep.
because they were gambling on a 7-year-old movie that was a relatively low budget. It was well received. Like you said, it wasn't a monster hit. James Cameron was a well-regarded director, but I don't think he'd earned the right to be trusted with a mega budget.
Right.
So really, I mean, it hinged on Schwarzenegger's global appeal. And as we said, I mean, this was the absolute peak. I don't think it ever got as good as it was for Schwarzenegger when he did this movie.
No.
You
Yeah, like you
know,
say, this was the peak exactly. Like
this is
he
the
rose to
absolute peak.
this, and it was never equaled.
It was downhill from here.
Yeah. I
I
mean, he
mean,
had. I think True Lies. Didn't we talk about this just like last week or something? Like True
yeah,
Lies was like the last Schwarzenegger movie that kind of
that was like a big
was
monster hit.
an actual
You know,
Which, by the way, there's a lot of deleted stuff peppered throughout here, where you see the T1000 deteriorating.
right? And
Like
the
earlier,
reason is that they damaged him
right? He's
by
become
shooting him.
weakened. There's
Yeah,
a cool little moment here where he kicks the crap out of Arnold, and then you see like a little ripple flow through him. So it's enough. But they had these moments where his feet are actually melting into the ground as he
yeah,
walks. And then something else where he grabs like a bar that has like a warning sort of stripe, like yellow stripe on it.
yeah.
Oh, that still looks rad, by the way. When he throws the T1000 into the wall, and then he just turns around, like the back of his head becomes the front of his head.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But
I
anyway,
mean, and
so
it still looks good.
oh yeah, it looks awesome. And so anyway, so yeah, he grabs onto this bar that's like yellow and black, and then his hand comes up. Oh, it sticks to it, right? And then he
Yeah,
like has to rip it off, and then he looks at it and he has to shake the color out of his hand.
to get that right, to get the pattern out.
But here's all they left in, just that little
That right
ripple.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what again? Look at what's happening to the Terminator. So now his arm is all screwed up there, and we need to be at a place thematically where the Terminator is potentially out of the equation, and can Sarah and John defeat him on their own?
Right.
That's what we have to think as an audience. Because I mean, he's getting effed up pretty bad.
Yeah. But he won't
And
give
I mean,
up.
I remember being a kid and just my heart breaking. Yeah,
It's pretty. This is good. I never really thought
the
about how
the
much dreamlike stuff there is in this movie. That felt very nightmarish there, didn't it? Where there's just
yeah.
nowhere to run, and then you see this
Oh,
killing
totally.
machine slowly walking toward you. Like the deliberate, slow-paced nature of it.
Well,
There's
and
something sort of
and
dreamlike and scary about it. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I mean, it. Well, I mean, I'm watching this, and you think about like why did these first two work so well? And when you think about it, it's beyond all the trappings. There's an emotional undercurrent, right?
Right.
One thing I always say about the first film is the first Terminator is a love story.
Right.
And this is a love story too, just in framed in a different way. And so we care about the emotional aspect of it. We care about John. We care about his relationship with his mother and his relationship with his de facto father in this movie.
Yeah. Boom. Ouch.
Now this is a scene here where we get to see the twins,
Yes.
the Linda Hamilton and her twin sister
And as he's got his
coming
finger
up
in her
shortly here.
shoulder and he's twisting it, he's making contact with her, which would go with our theory that he can only turn into things he's touched.
Good call. Yeah.
Huh. I know this hurts. Call to John. This is great. All right, now we're just starting to watch that movie. But yeah, no, this is
I
great
know.
too. When he takes the slices his. Oh my gosh, this still looks so amazing. When he pulls the pipe out, it doesn't look so great. But the
There we go. I love that effect right
yeah,
there. And then when he pins him, I mean, we 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 pretty much think, okay, he's done
right,
when he gets pinned to the grate, you know.
yeah. Well, when you go to
And it's
any
amazing how,
okay.
like, I mean,
Oh, sorry, go.
oh, right there, ooh, there's well, when his
Yeah.
head gets smacked. But uh, the fact that Cameron makes us care about the Terminator
Oh, for
as a
sure.
character is itself kind of extraordinary, you know.
Yeah. Well, they say when you in
There's a
any good
puppet right there.
screenwriting book
Ooh.
that you get, they have a moment called the death moment where basically you're supposed to have your character, the audience thinks they're dead. So a lot of times in like an action film or a sci-fi film, it'll be literal. Like in this moment, you actually think that Arnold's character is dead. So you can have the moment where they sort of rise again and save the day. Sometimes it's metaphorical death, whatever. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of good story structure going on in this movie here.
I just want to point out the makeup effects on him.
Yeah, yeah. Like they don't look like they're
I mean,
attached to the
it looks
front of his face.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's like it looks like it's underneath his skin rather than over his skin.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look pasted on.
Boom. See the eye go dark.
And this is another moment that they tried to play again in the third Terminator. You know what's funny is I'm like, as I'm talking to you, I'm liking the third one less because I'm realizing all the ways that because they did the same thing where he shuts off and then he
Yeah.
reboots and
In a moment where he's trying to kill John, right? And he's like smashing the car and whatever, but
that's right. Yeah.
you just don't feel it. Or I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean it's yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, you know.
Yeah. Well, good thing he's got this reserve battery power here, man. Alternate power. He's back. And he just might save the day. This is a pretty cool effect. I mean, as simple as it probably is, you know what I mean? Like pulling his bar out from his chest here.
That's the other thing that Arnold does really well in this one is he doesn't fall into the trap of making the Terminator an emotional character.
Yeah, that's a good
He
point. Until the
doesn't he
very
never
end.
yells his lines, and that's something that he
Well, not that he yells,
right.
but that
Well, I mean,
he has he understand. He's sympathetic to John's emotions.
but 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 it's not overt, right? It's by
No.
implication.
Yeah. Oh,
So
here
in
we go.
other
Here's
words, he
the
he
twin.
never betrays. Like there's the twin right. There's
Yeah.
there's their twin right there. You can tell. You can actually tell because she looks different.
Yeah.
Um,
This is pretty awesome
in
though.
that shot.
In the background, you obscure a little bit with smoke, but this is great. This is a great
I just
moment too
love
because you think
the
this is the end of
simplicity
the
of, oh,
film.
just use the twin.
Yeah, oh, totally. But yeah,
That's
here you
it.
think you're
Yeah.
gonna get the here it
All,
is. Get him up to the edge, which looks awesome by the way. Those things like
all she needed was one more shot.
ah, it's so great.
So, just one more shot.
I love this little finger wag.
My 1-year-old does that all the time. I call him T1000.
But then here we go, Arnold.
And there we go.
Yeah.
This is the payoff right here. The good old grenade launcher.
Right to the gut. That old chestnut.
Now, why does the grenade launcher screw him up like that?
Well, because it exploded inside of him. You know what I mean? Like it
Oh,
didn't
okay,
just like
gotcha.
pierce
Now
through him
that's a
like a bullet, like it
practical.
actually exploded.
That's a
Yeah, that thing looks insane.
exploded in him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. That's a nightmare right there.
yeah. This looks cool when he's like sloshing around in the pool here. Morphing from characters. I think the only thing that if I had my way is maybe I'd get rid of that thing from overhead where it looks kind of like goofy and you know what I'm talking
The
about?
when he before he dissipates, you mean?
Yeah. Like this looks kind of cool when it's like he revisits every character that he had been
All the forms that he
and
took.
kind of
Yeah.
like freaks out. But then like when it does that overhead shot and it kind of turns all globby and he turns into like one big face. I
At the
mean,
very,
it's
and then his face dissipates at the end.
yeah, yeah. Which I mean, whatever. It does look kind of cool though when it breaks apart and then like becomes a part of the molten.
That part you would
But
do away with.
I don't know. Something about it just seemed like kind of liked how it was.
I dig this though right here. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like at
And it
that
just
point, you're like, okay, he's gone.
yeah, and you can tell because he's separating and becoming a part of the metal there. Like it's over. And then you get the one cheeseball line out of the Terminator
Yeah.
here.
I need a vacation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Again, I'm glad they activated his quippy subroutine.
Yeah. I need a vacation. You didn't hear that anywhere else earlier.
I know. You just know that Schwarzenegger like gave himself a high five for coming up with that, like on
Yeah,
the set.
he's like, James, I was in my trailer and I thought of something. And he's like, okay. And then we will ride motorcycles up PCH later as friends. Um, I remember like when I was younger, I remember that was like that's what they did. They like rode their motorcycles down PCH.
That was the original ending of the movie.
Yeah. Adios, man. This kid's really into speaking Spanish.
Well, he grew up in with those Mexican guys.
Oh my gosh, I never put it together.
Makes sense, right? Enrique.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, when you first saw this, did you get emotional when the Terminator gets dissolved in the middle?
You know, I don't think I've ever been moved to like a lump in my throat or anything, but like I
Yeah.
do totally track with it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? With the movie.
Yeah, I had a friend who talked about how at the very end when he sees when the Terminator does the thumbs up sign,
Yeah.
like he lost it at that moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know anybody who cried. So I started laughing at my friend at
Yeah.
that moment.
Oh, yeah, you should have. You
Uh,
did the right
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, we're not friends anymore. That's the moral of that story.
Yeah, but
It
no,
was
this I
interesting
think this totally works here. This, you know, him.
it's you buy his desperation, but I think it's also interesting that you know Sarah knows exactly what he's doing.
Right.
Like she's you know what I mean? Like she gets it, and she doesn't get involved. She doesn't try to comfort John either.
And you would think that this perfectly sets things up to not allow a sequel. Every remnant has of that war has been destroyed in the past. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like the loose ends feel tied up.
well, supposedly James Cameron was on set, and his slogan was T3 without me,
Really?
and well, I mean that ended up being the case, but I think he meant it like I don't want there to be a T3.
Yeah. That's kind of
And
cool.
and I think, we've talked about this before. There's something to the idea of a story having an end.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And had they left the Terminator franchise here with this, I don't think the world of cinema would be any poorer for that,
No. No. And there was I guess maybe we don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. Let's get sad. Let's get sad here. As she lowers the Terminator into the lava. I mean, this is well staged here, don't you
No,
think?
it's very well staged, I think. I mean, and the music, is a nice version of the theme here.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that this is 1991, and later this year, Alien 3 came out, and that also ends with the main character
Oh yeah,
disappearing into a vat of molten metal.
that's funny. This looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Little flames coming up his clothes.
I'm wondering how they did some of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's like a dummy for sure,
Yeah.
right there.
You got the little thumbs up. Your friend. Hide your friend's eyes.
I know he's tearing up now vicariously.
So anyway,
Right.
we end this movie then with what? Narration and, future's not set kind of dialogue and the freeway, but the original ending actually shows the day that Judgment Day was supposed to start. Is that right? Or was it
No, it's the
during the
aftermath.
war, 2029 or something like that?
Yeah, it's right.
And Sarah Connor is an old woman, and she's sitting on a bench watching John play with his kid, so her grandkid, and she's just thinking, like, all these people will never know. And she looks kind of wistful and lost in thought. And I feel like John comes over to her and kind of snaps her out of it, like, it didn't
Yeah.
happen. It's okay. Like,
Yeah.
you can lighten up now. But then they opted to go for this little, slightly more open-ended.
Well, then
ending.
so then you answered your own question. So in other words, they did leave it open for a potential sequel.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that they took what was a completely finite ending
Yeah.
into that, it feels a little more mysterious, sure. But at the same time, I mean, it does feel like all the loose ends are tied up here.
Do you think they should have kept that other ending?
No, it's a little. I was just thinking, actually, looking at that shot of Edward Furlong crying, this like little
Yeah.
boy crying. Like,
Yeah.
most action movies, it's like the plane blows up and it's like, got him, and then it's like hard rock and then the credits. But like
Right.
this, like, took the time to like actually try to have an emotional ending,
Right.
and I feel like that was enough for us, like as an audience. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I feel like that would have been almost like a bridge too far, and maybe a little too syrupy.
Right.
It just didn't fit the tone of the film.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I think the shot of the highway is actually I prefer that because it plays closer to the way the first one ended, where we have the character driving off into the distance, and where does the highway lead? We don't know.
Yeah, tonally.
Yeah. Like I said,
So-
it's like poetry. It repeats itself. And I like comments in this commentary. They're like poetry.
But yeah, there we go. Terminator
Wow.
2.
Well, Brian, I've long wanted to talk through Terminator 2 with you, so I'm grateful to have had that opportunity.
Absolutely. And hopefully, I hope people enjoyed listening to this. It was certainly fun to watch it again.
Well, if nothing else, it'll give people a reason to rewatch one of the greatest action movies ever made. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
as far as I'm concerned, that's reason enough. But that wraps up our contribution to this, and we hope you'll join us for our next movie film commentary track. Brian, where
Somewhere
can
down the
people
line.
find you? Where can people find you online?
Well, they can find me at everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I, and I'm also on Twitter at everythingbrian.
And I have no doubt that you're making full use of your Twitter handle.
I actually looked up a hashtag tonight because I was at an event in a picture and I knew that it was going to get posted, so I had to look through the hashtag and found it. And I was like, oh, Twitter, this is kind of cool. I should use this.
Bravo, old
Yeah.
man Brian.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find us at moviefilmpodcast.com. Also, you can hit us up on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. And as for me, you can find me at zackyscorner.com and at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews go up regularly, as does this show. I'm also on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. And we'll be back soon with a regular episode of our show, but we'll also have another commentary track at some point in the hopefully not too distant future. It's been a little while since our last one. I'm hoping we can up the frequency of these yak tracks.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. But regardless, on behalf of my colleague Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This is a movie film commentary track, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome, friends.